What's happening, y'all? Welcome inside the Fantasy Stock Exchange. We got a live stream. This is our little happy hour. Surprise, surprise, our draft guide drops tomorrow if you guys haven't heard us talk about it enough. But we had some boys piling in early. Spicy Hot was here half an hour early. Appreciate that. Shout out to Spicy Hot for already purchasing the draft guide as well.
Cheers to that.
Jesse's in here second. He's the runner-up, but still pretty clean right there. Lamar Gaming, familiar live stream guy. It's his third appearance, I believe, now in the live streams.
Maybe fourth, to be honest. He's been on the grind.
True. Jesse coming in hot already, giving us something to talk about. Tyler's on the Motor Speedway.
Holy crap, that is so annoying.
I have DJ Chark, T. Higgins, Michael Thomas, Justin Jefferson, Cortland Sutton, Will Fuller as wide receivers. In a dynasty non-PPR, who would you trade out of these players, and what is their value? Low key, is Jefferson the one you trade just because his value is so high?
That's the one, honestly. Like when I'm looking at these options right here, like Cortland Sutton is one of my buys, to be quite honest, because people are undervaluing him to the point where he's 100%. Falling in the 6th, 7th area. Will Fuller, you're probably not going to get as much for him because he's an impending free agent. And looking at the other guys,
and Jefferson are the two that stand out to me as people. Chark for sure, just because everyone is really high on Trevor Lawrence, obviously, for good reason. And Chark's value could diminish, honestly, as soon as free agency. If they go out and sign I could see them signing someone like Corey Davis, being like a low-key candidate to sign someone like that. And if that's the case, DJ Chark's value takes a huge hit. So Chark would be a guy that I wouldn't mind shopping. And then if you're looking for like an elite running back, that's when I would shop Justin Jefferson, because I think you could get an elite running back with Justin Jefferson. But Chark is probably the guy of the ones that you mentioned for sure that I would shop first.
Yeah, I mean, especially in a non-PPR, you could probably capitalize on the fact that, well, Justin Jefferson, for the record, is going to have more appeal in that format. Obviously, he doesn't have that 105, 110 type upside like a Michael Thomas. So in this situation here, again, you're looking at the situation. You could probably flip Justin Jefferson and get maybe like Swift in a second-round pick. If you could do something like that, I would do that 100% of the time.
Yeah, that's not a bad value thing. I would go after Cam. I love Cam Akers, so I'd probably go after Cam.
That works too, yeah. Cam Akers might have to be a straight swap at this point, given the amount of hype that Cam Akers has.
I think you could still probably get more out of the Cam Akers owner for Justin Jefferson.
That's fair. I know
there's some people out there that think that Justin Jefferson is like dynasty wide receiver 1. So if there's people that have that belief in your league, then you could probably get like a lot of them, like a first in Cam Akers, to be honest.
If you got that, I mean, I would take that value any day of the week. Heck, any of those receivers, quite frankly. I mean, obviously, again, Jefferson's going to pull in the most value, but you're looking at it. You can get a mid-tier type running back or a rookie pick for DJ Chark. You can look at it from Michael Thomas' perspective. Maybe you have a Saints fan in your league that wants to overpay for him. There's all types of offers that are willing to be put out there, given the assets that you actually hold on your team right there. So overall, I mean, I would also want to know what other needs are on your roster, but because it's a non-PPR, because it's nothing to do with the Superflex here from what I see, the two most valuable positions, in my opinion, are going to be those receivers and running back. So if you're stocked at receiver, this probably means you are a little weaker at running back. So take advantage on that market value.
Yeah, and you could honestly, with a guy like DJ Chark, I wouldn't be opposed to flipping DJ Chark for, I mean, maybe you might even be able to flip DJ Chark in a pick for someone like, I don't know, David Montgomery maybe. You might be able to get someone like that for DJ Chark. And that could be a sneaky move. With Chark's value is probably the highest it's going to be, in my opinion. I don't see Chark getting much better than he currently is, unless Trevor Lawrence just comes in. He's just this absolute phenom that he very well could be, given the talent that he has.
I'm not a big Joe Mixon fan, but, I mean, this is the absolute cheapest you're probably going to get him. He's still locked into a long-term contract and can't really get much worse than it was last year. So if you could flip, like, DJ Chark in a late 2, that could probably net you a guy like Mixon. I'd be fine with doing that type of move as well.
Tyler's whipping out the Gars, as you can see right there.
I smoked last night. I can't smoke again. I'm not that much of a degenerate.
For sure.
Wow,
Lamar said, I have Jefferson PPR, though. Should I pull the trigger on 2 firsts and 2 firsts and 2 seconds to a contending team for Justin Jefferson? You take that?
Not if they're late firsts. I can't take the risk on that. I think Jefferson, all in all, is going to be a perennial top 5 to 8 receiver. And at that point, I'm not just going to sell him for lottery tickets. I would absolutely need a proven piece in that deal as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think you said, I'm assuming you're a rebuilding team because you said sell them to a contender. There's not many better rebuilding receivers to have, like to kind of establish your foundation of your rebuild than a guy like Justin Jefferson.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe Justin Jefferson's not a top 5 receiver next year, but I'm sure he's going to be a top 12 receiver. And then 2 years from now, he might be that like elite wide receiver 1.
I mean, heck, this is a kid who's 23 years old and already has a 1,400-yard season under his belt. So, I mean, worst case scenario, if he provides and returns top 12 wide receiver value for the next, let's just say hypothetically 6-7 years, I mean, that's going to give you top 5 overall dynasty receiver value. So, I mean, I wouldn't be able to just sell him for 2 lottery tickets in the first, probably going to be in the 110 to 112 area, considering you're saying a contending team. And those seconds are literally basically thirds at that point. So that's just my thought on it.
Yeah, no worries. Money bags.
We clicked at the same time. What's up, boys? Do you guys believe in the Madden curse? I mean,
100%. Man, Antonio Brown went from out of the league because of the Madden curse to a Super Bowl champion. So if that's not enough proof to believe in the Madden curse, do we know who's going to be on Madden this year? Have they announced it yet?
I'm not sure, actually.
Maybe Aaron Rodgers or something, maybe?
Well, then again, Mahomes was on the cover this past year, and then I guess, yeah, he did get hurt for a couple games, right? So
yeah, and he lost the Super Bowl.
That works too. Yeah.
The entire Bucs roster up there.
Yeah, just throw the entire Bucs. Throw Devin White on the cover.
Wait, is the only one that avoided the curse when Tom Brady won the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That's crazy because the year Gronk was on, he ended up getting hurt and like basically retiring in the final in the year.
Yeah, Lamar kind of getting torched right now.
Yeah. My RB situation is Antonio Gibson and Chris Carson. So, yeah, I need a running back. I don't trust Chris Carson long term. Yeah, I fully agree. And, again, if you can go after, let's say hypothetically, you can turn Justin Jefferson into, again, either a Cam Akers or DeAndre Swift and like an early second-round pick, let's just say.
I think you can get a first for it plus Cam Akers.
You think so?
Justin Jefferson. I think you could. It could be a late first, but I still think you could do it. I don't think people have bought in enough on Cam Akers to not trade him for a guy like Justin Jefferson. And I also think, too, I mentioned DJ Chark. Would you be opposed to trying to flip Jefferson plus Chark for like an elite running back like McCaffrey?
I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, I don't think the McCaffrey owner would take it, but I mean, I would be fine. Heck, even if you could pull off, I don't know, Jonathan Taylor, even to be quite honest.
I think people are going to be more hesitant to sell Taylor than they would Dalvin.
That's fair. Either way, yeah, I agree. He also has Melvin Gordon. Yeah, I would probably want one more good young type piece in that RB stable, but again, you have so many good receivers to the point that you're in the position
and
to be able to.
You didn't mention your draft picks. If you have like an early first rounder and you could get a Travis Etienne and Najee Harris or something like that,
even Javonte Williams
honestly would be fine at running back if you could add a piece like that. Like I think Chris Carson is probably going to go to a situation where he's still going to be pretty decently fantasy relevant.
Yeah, like even a Javonte Williams, I like a lot too. So you got plenty of options if you do have an earlier draft pick as well. So Matt says, why is James Robinson?
So this is a Fantasy Scouts co-owner here, Matt. They know me as the James Robinson hater because I'm weighing down his consensus ranking for us. And I mean, I've had conversations with the group chat on numerous occasions. I don't like James Robinson, but I'll change my tune if in 2 months from now, he's still the only guy in that backfield, because the way I look at James Robinson, I've said this on numerous occasions, is that he was basically what Leonard Fournette was for years. He's just a guy that gets a stupid amount of volume. And now we have a couple things at play that could affect that. One, his coaching staff is no longer there that we've seen feature a workhorse running back. And two, they have a lot of draft capital and they could add a piece. Even if they add a second, third round pick, if they throw in a Kenneth Gainwell, if they throw in a Michael Carter or something like that, that's enough to make James Robinson a low-end RB2, in my opinion. He's not an RB1 if that happens.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Again, I don't hate James Robinson. I'm in the same stance as you. I do think that his work was kind of appropriated due to the situation, due to the sheer volume that he received last year. Anything at this point can only bring it down, to be quite honest, whether they add a third down back, whether the offense changes under Urban Meyer and Brian Schottenheimer. There's just so many variables at stake here to the point that valuing him within that top 14, 15 RB range that I see really consensus amongst the industry is just too high at this point, given the amount of risk that he presents, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the UDFA thing, we've seen it play out recently. Philip Lindsay came off a season where if you bought Philip Lindsay in Dynasty, you probably would have assumed he could have been an RB1 for Dynasty purposes coming off of his rookie season. A season in which he made the Pro Bowl and was the first 1,000-yard rusher as a UDFA and since Terrell Davis or something like that. So if you look at Philip Lindsay's value from now, like what it is now, it's not really that high anymore. And I think James Robinson is at the highest value he's possibly going to be at, which is why I continuously say for people to sell him.
Exactly. I actually got into a little Twitter engagement today where someone basically appropriated James Robinson's value as being Jonathan Taylor plus a first-round pick.
Oh, Jesus.
And when I saw that on Twitter, I'm just like, bro, like, if you picked up James Robinson for free last year and you are not selling him, you are going to lose out on so much.
Yeah, and I think I still would sell James Robinson if they don't add anybody, because then everyone's really going to assume that he's going to be a top-end running back.
Yeah, like you could probably get top 10 RB or dynasty RB value for him right now. And if that's the case, I mean, like, I'm taking that any day of the week.
I mean, I sold him week 8, somewhere close to the deadline last year, because I'm just like, it's a waste. It's a dynasty. Even if he wasn't, the committed guy for the team, he was that season. It was enough for me to trade him away. I felt like I got good value for him. I forgot what I got. I probably should look that up. But I know I was able to get a pick and plus a piece, and that's worth it for me.
And the law of like averages and outliers and all that stuff would dictate that a UDFA running back that has a full status workload in his rookie season is probably an outlier, right? So you're better off betting that he's not going to get that workload again. And if you're wrong, like, I guess this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer. Like, that's pretty much like your only option, because James Robinson is not like I didn't see a special player. He's good. He's a talented player. I don't think. I see him the way I kind of see James Conner all those years, where he was like, yeah, he's good, but he's not really that great. Doesn't move the needle for me.
Yeah, no, I agree to that point. He had a good year, and I'll give him all the credit like he deserves there, but he's just not a special talent at the position as well.
For sure. All right, Nate says, trying to trade Julio and Waller for the 106, the 107, and 108. But the other owner wants to see if the 106 moves up a spot or two in our lottery this week. Who wins the trade if it stays the 106? Okay, so
scoring settings.
My mind immediately went to you can easily get Kyle Pitts with one of those picks because you're trading away Darren Waller. So you could theoretically, I guess it depends if you're a rebuild or if you're a contender. But if you told me right now you could sell Darren Waller for Kyle Pitts plus another mid-round first-round pick, I would probably take it, to be honest.
Yeah.
So.
And I can briefly add to this. Like, first of all, I do want to know the scoring settings. I do want to know the roster composition because, again, this changes dramatically, like, in general, if it's a super flex versus if it's just a normal one quarterback league. But even if it's a one quarterback, to be honest, I do like the picks in this situation. Because, again, I think
any of those picks I would take over Julio straight up.
Yeah, I would too.
One of those picks. And it's nothing against Julio. I think he's going to be a super undervalued player. I think a late first round pick, though, is probably what his value is at. Maybe even an early second if someone's not necessarily totally bought in. But I think the Julio and the 108 cancel each other out. So it's basically the 106 and the 107 for Darren Waller. And then that's probably you're looking at Javonte Williams and Kyle Pitts with that. That's a really good value right there. Or even potentially a quarterback too.
Yeah, for sure. Again, I'd also want to know if this is a super flex versus a 1 QB because a 1 QB, it is a little closer. I still prefer the picks. If this is a super flex, though, like you absolutely crush it in terms of value here. Because then again, you throw those 4 quarterbacks into the mix.
You'll probably get a quarterback, if not one of Etienne or Harris.
Yeah.
4 quarterbacks are in there with a 106.
So I absolutely love that. And we'll quickly cut to the dollar super sticker from Moneybags. Appreciate that a ton, Moneybags. Love the support for the channel. And as always, we'll move on to Owen right here. The beard growing crazy. Yeah.
Thanks.
I got the trim. Just kidding. Can you see my hairline?
No, I just see a bandana.
I don't know, man. I think it starts around here. I can't remember. It's been so long. Like I just don't even take it off,
True. All right. I'm still biased on this question. Who are you taking this year? Akers, Swift, Eckler, Gibson, Robinson in order. So Robinson, as everyone knows, will be the last guy in that order for me.
Redraft, right?
Yeah, I'm assuming it's a redraft. Akers is my number one guy there, honestly. Like I love Cam Akers that much. He's the number one guy there. And probably Austin Eckler is a close second. And then I think it's kind of a tier break between those top 2 guys. And then I would probably say Antonio Gibson, just given the state of the Detroit Lions team right now. We'll have to see what they do in the offseason to maybe build around Jared Goff, if that makes any sense. Because I think whatever Washington ends up doing, it's going to be a QB upgrade from what they had last year, whether they get Sam Darnold, whether they sign Cam Newton. I don't even know. I don't really even care. I think Antonio Gibson is probably capped at a low-end RB1 next year, which is why I would take guys like Akers and Eckler ahead of him.
Yeah, and my take on this is, first of all, I would want to know the discrepancy here. I'm assuming it's a half PPR, but if you're in full, Eckler would be my one. But just basing it off of half PPR, I'm probably going to end up having it as Akers, Eckler, Swift, Gibson, Robinson in that order. The reason why I do prefer Swift to Gibson is we kind of seen what Washington's coaching staff wants to do with Gibson. He doesn't really have that full 3-down workload because J.D. McKissic is there. Whereas DeAndre Swift with the new coaching staff, he has the ability to progress into that 3-down back, which does give him the edge in terms of what I perceive to be the upside.
True.
Here,
but the only thing with Swift to me is like how valuable is the starting running back on a team that's going to have a top 3 pick next year is the way I look at that. Because I think Washington's going to be a lot better than Detroit in terms of like how often they have the ball, scoring opportunities and stuff like that. And again, that's going to depend who they bring in at quarterback, but I think they're probably going to upgrade their QB position from last year. So I think Gibson, even despite the fact that, and that's still a question mark, he could still grow into that role next year, but as of right now, he's really just a 2-down runner with some receiving upside. He definitely could become that 3-down guy like it looks like Swift is going to be for the Lions. But I think the scoring opportunities are enough for me to prefer Gibson over him.
Yeah, that's fair too. Again, you're splitting hairs on that one.
Yeah. And I think the talent level is pretty much the same between those guys too.
So, Tyler, you can chime in here. Go ahead.
Mine's completely off from you guys. I think I have in my rankings currently Swift, Eckler, Akers, Gibson, Robinson. So I'm just going to not say anything because I'm clearly way off. Look at my rookie rankings on the draft guide, though. That's the elite stuff. That's what I put the most energy into. Get the draft guide, get a chance to get in the league, get a chance to get a jersey presented, auctioned off by me, and then look at our rankings and go check out my rookie rankings. That's
we haven't been plugging that enough. But Tyler is giving away a jersey. If you come on, I believe do they have to reference you in the how did you hear about us? I
don't care. No.
Okay. Either way, whoever has bought in the draft guide already and whoever plans to buy it, you'll have a chance to not only get in the league and lose to me and have a lot of trades
lose to me by
Danny, but you'll also have a chance to win a jersey as well.
Hey, everybody knows I'm the elite dynasty guy here.
Of your choice. It's whatever you want. I'm not going to pick it for you. I'm not a monster. Give you a Jason Sanders jersey. I'd love to, but I won't.
I'll quickly say, again, you guys see the banner going at the bottom of the screen. And we mentioned the Listener Dynasty League. Get your spot. You still have about 12 hours left to enter into the sweepstakes. And actually, I believe we're at numbers to the point right now where if you do buy the guide, you're in.
Whoever has purchased the guide, as long as they want to be in the league, are in the league because currently there's going to be 12 people in the league. We currently, I believe, have had 9 pre-orders. So we're filled up pretty much. I think we have maybe one more spot left. I'll just double check real quick to make sure I'm not feeding false information.
Yeah. You guys are constantly in the live streams, constantly supporting us. Reward yourselves. Get in a league with us. So,
does Jay want to be in the listener league, Tyler? Because he did pre-order the guide.
Hold up, Jay. You want to be in the listener league? You trying to be in their league?
Didn't know he was literally right beside you. That's funny.
It's a dynasty league. Yeah, no, he's right here. You want to be in the dynasty league? We're both hitting it. You know, come on, we know what we're doing. You want to be in the? Can we co-own a team?
Yeah, you can co-own a team.
Go for it. Yeah.
Oh, we'll co-own a team and beat both of you. That's all right.
Okay, so then we currently have Flet 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8 plus me and Danny. So there's currently 10 spots taken, which means we could either have a 10-man league or we could have 2 more spots for anyone who wants to get their last minute pre-orders in. Again, link is in the description and going across the ticker at the bottom right now.
100%. So we'll quickly go through money bags right here. How many leagues you guys play on average and largest buy-in amount you've played. So for me personally, last year, I think I was in about 5 or 6. And the largest buy-in I played in was about 125 American. Let's just say I did win that league first year, so it was a nice little payment. But how about you guys? How many leagues you could play in versus what was the highest buy-in? I know Corey's is pretty high.
I was in 7 leagues last year. The highest buy-in was one of the leagues that I won. It was a $350 buy-in, so that was pretty nice. My trophy is going to be on this wall right here. I'm going to build a shelf on that door, and my big-ass fantasy football trophy is going to be behind me once it gets shipped to me from all the way in Ottawa. For those of you who are American who have no idea what Ottawa is, it's the capital of Canada.
Why is it in Ottawa?
Because Ward goes to U of O.
Gotcha. Is he commish?
No, he's not commissioned, but he's the guy who ordered the trophy. And I was like, yo, why did Ward order it? He's the only one that's out of town in this league.
That's fair. All right. And then we got Lasardo. Predictions for Saints season considering cap space 0-16.
No, I sorry, I zoned out there for a second. Okay, so the Saints are like, I mean, I don't know what the hell they're going to do with quarterback. I think they're going to somehow finagle a way to have Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill be the two quarterbacks there. I honestly think they're going to be able to figure that out, but I honestly have no idea what they're going to do at the other positions because there's ways around the cap. There's ways to free up space and back like push money off into the future, but they've been doing that for so many years now that it's starting to catch up with them a little bit. And they might have to make some tough decisions. That's probably going to include letting guys walk like Sheldon Rankins and Marcus Williams, and maybe even cutting some guys that you don't want to cut. So I think the Saints are probably not the second best team in the NFC South next year, if I'm being honest. I think depending on what Carolina does, I think Carolina is actually the second best team in the NFC South.
Clearly Bush is a big Falcons fan. I think Falcons go in first place in the division next year. I mean,
they could be good if they draft like, I don't know, Justin Fields or something like that. I think Carolina is built to is going to get better over this offseason. They were so young last year. They got some experience. They got baptized a little bit by a lot of teams, and they probably should come back a lot better. And if they add a guy like Zach Wilson or Trey Lance or something like that, I think Carolina could be really explosive on offense. And that could lead to them winning like 10 games or something like that.
And we mentioned a couple times, like, yes, like out of landing spots, like Mac Jones would be like a decent spot here. But the more I think about it, I mean, I want a mobile quarterback here.
I don't think they're going to like Mac Jones, man. That's
what I'm saying.
Ownership, like the coaches like speed. Like if for those of you guys who've never heard of that role, he was on the Move the Sticks podcast before he got hired in Carolina, and all he did was talk about how he loves speed. Like on every position. So Trey Lance, to me, it makes a lot of sense. And Fields too. Those guys are both really like probably the fastest two QBs in this class. So those two guys make a lot of sense to me for Carolina. But I also think Zach Wilson's a great fit too, just given the scheme.
I got a question for you. Let's just say hypothetically they can't make a move up. They don't move for Watson. Okay. And they're stuck picking at 7. Is that a potential spot that we see Jaylen Waddle go?
I wouldn't do that if I was them. I mean, it's basically just a souped up version of Curtis Samuel. So
I guess, but like I'm just thinking of it in terms of a fit. Like you're probably
going to fit. Yeah, definitely a good fit. I just think they'd be better if what's his name's gone. If you're going to take an offensive player, you're better off taking Pitts.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Like if Pitts is on the board, like and the quarterbacks are gone, I do say that Pitts is probably the best offensive piece that they could take. But out of all the receivers in this class, I think that Waddle would fit what they have there the best.
Yeah, I think you would too, but I also think they're probably even better off taking offensive line too at that point.
That's fair. Like a Slater or Darsow.
Can I answer the league-based question? Because I had the Bitcoin league that I could talk about.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah. So, we kind of cut you off.
No, you're good. I just want to mention this league. So it's not a league I was in last year, so I can't really talk about that. I wasn't in really all that many big money leagues last year, but I paid $100 to be in a Bitcoin league. All of our money from the 12 guys got put into Bitcoin at the price it was currently when we bought it. It's currently now the winner. We're sitting here in the month of almost March. The winner would be making $9,000. If that continues to at least, rise even a little bit more, we're talking $11,000 could be made off of really $12,000 of investment. So that's huge.
You mean $1,200?
$1,200.
What was that?
$1,200.
You get $1,200. I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Don't worry about 12,000. Guys, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Wait, so you said Bitcoin has 9x'd basically since you guys bought into the
league. That can't be right.
With the money we put in, our money's now at $9,000.
So okay,
9,000.
Was it a $200 buy?
We put in 1,200. No, it was 100. We put in 200. It hit 9,000 because we bought it when it was at its low peak at like 27, 28, and it hit like 50. And when it was at 50, we're like,
okay, that's only 2x.
Even if that's not, that's like 2x.
I don't know. I listen to Scott. Scott tells me the big money things. I don't do the math.
I saw like your money was at like 1,800, 1,900.
Yeah,
which is like a lot more than you guys bought it initially, but we
should have bought it on 28.
Maybe it grew by $900, not to 9,000. Is what he means.
Yeah, I'm an idiot. I'm not good with math. Don't worry about
it. Nate said it's super flex half PPR.
Smash.
Yeah, smash that trade for Darren Waller. Honestly, like
I would do that for
he's a great asset, but in a super flex league, you're getting a superstar quarterback potentially.
I wouldn't even. Obviously, again, if you can get the 108 as well, you do it. I wouldn't even need the 108 to make that deal. I would do it for the 106 and 107. Really? Eh?
Yeah, I think I still would.
Because I would take the
one. Man, Waller's just such a safe asset right now. I think the contract and like the way that the offense built around him and stuff, like I think he's such a good asset. You need a Kyle Pitts first of all, and then you also need some of that extra stuff. Plus, you're also giving up Julio Jones too, who's still definitely got a chance to be a top receiver again.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, let's get into some more. Oh, click at the same time. Danny, we already went through that. PPR.
Can we see Danny's hairline in PPR?
Oh, no. So he's clarifying that question from earlier. So that is full PPR. In that case, it's the same rankings for me, except switch Eckler and Akers.
I think Akers is going to be involved in the passing game, man. I think he's just my dude, man. I just love the guy.
That's going to be fun throughout the
summer. He was my RB5 last year, so low-key I was kind of low on him. And I actually thought he'd have like a down rookie season. He proved me completely.
He made the sleepers video.
Yeah, he did make the sleepers video. Yeah, he did. And I also think didn't he? No, it wasn't the sleepers video.
It was. No?
It was the top 5 breakout candidates.
Oh, it was one of them. Regardless.
Yeah. Either way, yeah, Cam Akers was excellent this year. So,
hi, Flet. This question is for Tyler since he's focused on rookies more. Who's the better prospect between Carter and Gainwell?
Carter. I actually add details because I like just basically say that.
Well, just kind of like.
I think Carter's basically just a better version of everything that Gainwell brings to the table, to be honest. Except for Gainwell, the better pass protector, but Carter's much better in between the tackles than Gainwell is. I think what you get out of Carter is the potential to be more than just a third down back or a change of pace back. Which not that Gainwell is completely limited to that, but I think it's more likely that Carter becomes more than Gainwell.
I got a question for you, Tyler.
Go ahead.
How much more do you like Carter this year than you hated CH last year?
That's okay. So last year CH was fluctuated between RB5 and 6. Carter's my clear 4 in this class.
This class is also not as good as last year's.
Yeah.
I think Carter would have been like my RB7 in last year's class.
Yeah, same.
So let's put him into last year's class. I probably him and CH would have been right next to each other, whether it had been one ahead or one behind. I'd probably give it to CH just off of they kind of have matching seasons, right? CH is 2019 versus Carter's 2020. They kind of look fairly similar and just a lot of explosive stats, and you kind of have to look more into the film to kind of see flaws, but I do like Carter's pass blocking better, even though it's not really.
They're both not good at it. I think I compared Carter to CEH in my player cards, and Carter is CEH with breakaway speed. That's basically what he is. And CEH maybe a little bit better as a receiver, maybe a little shiftier, but they're both very good in that regard. So I think you basically get everything you got out of Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Michael Carter, except he's actually got that breakaway speed. So, I mean, he actually even has a little bit more upside as like if he's going to be relegated to third down duties at the next level. I think Michael Carter, he's going to be really interesting to see where he goes. He's going to be really landing spot dependent, but he could be good for fantasy if he goes to a good spot.
I definitely see Carter being drafted before Gainwell. So just draft capital alone, I think there's some credibility to Carter. Gainwell's going to be interesting because I don't think he's going to be drafted in a position where he could take over the lead role for a few years. Not that he can't, but I don't think he's going to be drafted for that idea. Now he could beat someone out in camp and get the one, but I don't think he's going to be drafted for that. In all honesty, you kind of see a guy like that being drafted to be more of a third down. Can throw him in the slot, can use them like Tariq Cohen. Like teams want that kind of versatility from players, and even though Gainwell still has room to work in that area, I think that's what he'd be drafted for. Unlike Carter, who'd probably be drafted to be a 2-down kind of back for a team. There's a lot better possibility he gets more time just because of that.
Yep. I can see that. Most likely landing spot for Deshaun Watson.
I think Carolina is the most
Carolina makes the most sense. I
mean, look, in terms of if all things being equal, who has the best chance of getting him? It's probably Miami or New York because they have the most to offer. But what I've seen this from NFL teams, when you have that kind of draft capital, sometimes teams are hesitant to give it up because of the players you had to part with to get it.
Yeah.
And even though you'd be getting a franchise quarterback and Deshaun Watson back, I could see them kind of stinging out and being like, oh, we'll just like sit back. And then Carolina swoops in and drops like 3 1s and 2 2s on the Houston Texans. And they're like, oh shit, I guess we just lost out on Deshaun Watson. And I can assure you, I'd be very scared as a Buccaneers fan if Deshaun Watson was a Carolina Panther.
Yeah, I mean, you're getting a top tier quarterback in the league on a team that knows what they're doing from a coaching and schematic perspective. So, the Panthers would be fucking scary if they got Watson.
I would love for Bill O'Brien to still be employed with the Texans because I feel like the Dolphins could get him for a shoebox and a couple third-round picks. So
literally,
for real.
Trade him Myles Gaskin and a second rounder for him.
I don't see it, Lasardo. I'm sorry. You guys are losing a lot on defense. You guys don't know what you're doing at the quarterback position. And the division's going to be tough.
QBs, I think people underestimate how big of a presence Drew Brees is, let alone like him on the field. Yeah, he's lost a lot in terms of arm strength and stuff. But when Taysom Hill's leading your huddle or when Jameis Winston's leading your huddle, it's different than when Drew Brees is doing it. Like I think players just aren't going to respond as well if Drew Brees isn't there, which I do anticipate happening, courtesy of your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Thank you, Lasardo. But I it sucks for a Saints fan, but I honestly love to see it. So
yeah, for sure. And not to mention, I mean, we're not even talking about again those two key losses on defense, Marcus Williams and Sheldon Rankins.
And
there's no shot you guys are bringing them back,
too, aren't they?
Janoris,
Yeah, like your secondary could be really bad next year, low-key.
Yeah. This could be fun for me to finally see the downfall of y'all. I don't like the Saints, if you guys can tell.
Why don't you like them?
I don't like them. I don't know. Like
they're kind of annoying.
Yeah, they just
like Cam Jordan bothers me. Everything about him.
Yeah. I like Cam Jordan. I hate
Cam Jordan. He's like probably the guy I hate most on the Saints.
I don't like fucking Sean Payton at all.
Yeah, and he's got a punchable face for sure.
Yeah, fuck him. J.J. Watt picked up by the Browns. I don't think he's going to go there.
I don't think he's
How about the Browns pick up a positive point differential? Am I right?
I've seen the Bills floated out a lot. That makes a lot of sense for J.J. Watt.
They're not going to pay him that much money, bro. They're stingy with their money.
I mean, they're also
he'll probably go to Dallas so they don't have to sign Dak. Am I right, Danny?
Fuck off.
Yeah, I mean, J.J. Watt could go to a number of different places. I've seen Tennessee, Buffalo, like those kind of. I think he goes to the AFC or stays in the AFC probably. But
those are fighting words down there.
Jack Campbell is literally better than Freddie Anderson.
They talk about the Leafs goalie.
Hey, just put him in. Put him in.
The backup goalie for the Leafs is literally better than Frederick.
Hey, Tyler,
when I have to question who the other guy is, the guy who I know is better, and I'd say the best goalie in the league, the guy who shut out in the final games of the Cup Finals. I would assume he'd be the best. I mean, Freddie will probably never see a Cup Final. I mean, he may watch a few on TV, but he'll never be there. So it must be tough. Back-to-back shutouts too. We'll see it. We'll see on Tuesday.
Hey, Tyler, put him in timeout. No, I'm kidding. Allen Robinson for me. It's just not enough for me to be able to part ways with a guy as steady as Allen Robinson.
Yeah, and Michael Pittman Jr. hasn't done enough to even warrant really being like. What would you trade right now for Michael Pittman Jr.?
Probably mid-2.
Yeah, that's probably what I'm thinking too. And a 2022 first is probably also worth a mid-2 in value when you compare it to like what it would be right now.
I would probably say early 2.
Okay, either way, that's 2 2s for Allen Robinson. It's not enough. Allen Robinson's still going to be a top 20 receiver at bare minimum for the next like 2 to 3 years. Like probably more likely a top 10 receiver.
Top 12, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
Especially in PPR too. You said we clarified as PPR. Yeah, Allen Robinson has target volume. Wherever he goes, he's going to command target volume, whether he stays in Chicago or he goes somewhere else.
Yeah. What is the Vikings' record next season, and do they make the playoffs? I can see you guys being like that fringe.
They're always
7 to 9.
They're always like 9 and 7.
Yeah, I think they'll probably finish between the 7th and the 9th seed next year is where I would have them.
I think it's a big deal that like you're going to get healthier on defense, obviously, with Danielle Hunter coming back,
Michael Pierce.
You guys had like literally no pass rush all year last year, like zero pass rush. So.
And Michael Pierce helps out their run game tremendously as well.
Yeah, I think if their defense can get back to league average, like you could probably win 10 games with Minnesota's roster.
Yeah, for sure. No, stop. Spicy hot. No. What is this stupid fucking narrative that people want to push? Like, no, stop. We have our quarterback. We just need to.
Where do you think Russ would go if he gets traded?
Raiders make a ton of sense, man.
The Raiders do make a lot of sense. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah. That'd be fun too.
Where else they would like? I honestly don't know because like if you're Carolina, do you like suddenly pivot to Russ in case he comes left?
I guess. Dude, what if the league what if the Texans and the fucking Seahawks just said fuck it and swap them?
That'd be so funny. You know what the weird thing is that this is becoming really common. And I think it's really important to note from a dynasty perspective that the best thing you can do is just tie yourself to proven situations, which is why I bring up the example of like Patrick Mahomes all the time. Like Patrick Mahomes is going nowhere anytime soon. Like
exactly.
when you think of like drafting, and I'm going to bring this up all the time. You think of drafting Trevor Lawrence. If Trevor Lawrence is a superstar quarterback and Urban Meyer can't build around him and whoever else is in charge there, who's to say Trevor Lawrence doesn't demand a trade in 3 years, sit out a season, and then ruin your dynasty roster to some degree? So I just think it's always just good practice to invest in situations that are good, like top-down ownership, GM, coaching, weapons, quarterback. Like it's just so much easier when you invest in situations like that.
Are you making a Tua case right now?
Pardon?
Are you making a Tua case right now?
I mean, he's got a good situation around him. They got to build some weaponry. Tua, man, honestly, Tua's in the situation that I'm not really ready to give up on Tua because I thought he was a good prospect, and I think he obviously didn't show too much in his rookie season, but he's basically where Josh Allen was in his rookie season, and the Buffalo Bills did a tremendous job of building around Josh Allen. If the Dolphins can do the same, who's to say a year from now Tua is not at least like Baker Mayfield level of confidence and from the organization and from the fan base? Because I think Baker Mayfield still has a chance to be a franchise quarterback.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Saying Tua equals Baker makes me cry. How do you know?
Yeah, I realize that, which is why I used him as an example.
No money bags. I don't want to imagine that, so we'll get on to the next question. As a Vikings fan, the teams that I hate the most are the Packers, Saints, Cowboys, and Bears. What I want to hear.
Everyone hates the Cowboys. That's
everybody's just I was about to say that.
The Saints are just a hated team. Also, I'm not really sure why you hate the Saints, but yeah, fuck the Saints. Hate them.
Whoa! Why don't you hate the Eagles though? That's the question.
Yeah, the Eagles are also just a notoriously hated team.
Fuck the Eagles.
with Jay being an avid Falcon fan and then us being in Tampa, like the only mutual thing he has with Tampa fans is the fact that like we just hate the Saints. So
yeah, we absolutely hate the Saints. Yeah, the Falcons and Saints got a big time rivalry too. So
yeah, Vegas baby, yes sir. That would be a fun spot for him.
Danny's going to Vegas.
Yes or no? Chris Godwin coming back or tagged?
He ain't going anywhere. Whether he gets extended or whether he gets tagged, he's staying in Tampa at least one more year.
I agree.
And why wouldn't you want to stay? It's gorgeous here. I'm like sitting on my patio. What is it? 75 degrees. Beautiful.
Denzel Mims is a weird situation.
I don't think anyone's sleeping on Denzel Mims because I think a couple of reasons. One, I think the Jets are going to add receivers to their team. It's not going to be Denzel Mims as the number one going into next year. And not only that, but I don't really think Denzel Mims is all that good. I wasn't like the biggest. He's solid. I think he's like a complimentary receiver in the NFL. So he's a guy that is getting way too much hype, and it's completely unwarranted in my opinion. He didn't really show all that much as a rookie. He had a couple nice plays, and his situation around him is just so murky right now that people probably feel like they can buy him to get a value, but like literally everybody has the herd mentality. Let's buy Denzel Mims, so that I actually think his value is higher than what people think it is.
I got a question right now. Would you rather the 205 this year or Denzel Mims?
Let me go to who I have next to the 205 currently. So let me get a player-to-player comparison here. I'm pretty sure I know who it is, and it actually might be the guy I compared to Denzel Mims low-key, which would be
Terrace Marshall?
Yeah, it actually is Terrace Marshall. Yeah. So I would prefer Terrace Marshall personally, just because I think Terrace Marshall is going to get higher draft capital than Denzel Mims got. And I think he's not going to go to the New York Jets also.
When your highest redeeming quality, like when your best redeeming quality is the fact you were drafted in the second round and it's not talent-based, that it just screams issue to me. So
I think Denzel Mims is honestly like what everyone was saying about DK Metcalf when he was coming out, like he's only going to be a deep threat and he's not going to be like that's what Denzel Mims is to me. Like everything that everyone said about DK Metcalf and why he was a terrible prospect is exactly what Denzel Mims is. And I mean, if you could get a guy like Elijah, I would rather have Elijah Moore, which I think you could get at 205 than Denzel Mims in a heartbeat. I'd also rather have.
How about Elijah Holyfield?
RB1, bro. RB1.
I think I'd also rather have if you could get Michael Carter at 205 too, I'd rather have him as well.
Heck, even get a Kenny Gainwell, I'd take over him.
Gainwell's. It's going to depend where he gets drafted. Obviously, if Gainwell gets top 3 round draft capital, I'd probably take him there. But I also think there's a chance that Gainwell doesn't go to the 4th round.
That's fair. We kind of had a little brief Fusu mention. Speaking of Fusu, that guy just does not give up.
That guy just melted down. It was funny.
Man, like he was trying to
having that guy blocked for a year couldn't have been me.
He was trying to come at me today because my one friend said that Chase was dumb for not like running the 40, and this guy was like going off. He was like, "Oh, you shouldn't be calling," or I guess he said idiot. He's like, "Oh, you should be calling people idiot." I'm like, bro, don't even try to play that card right now.
Yeah,
like,
I want to see Danny run 40.
Wait, so Chase isn't running?
He didn't run a 40, and the stupid.
Well, that was the Exos thing. It's not his pro.
Well, I mean, did you see those times, by the way? Like,
yeah, they're so fake. Kylan Wallace does not run a 4.39. If Kylan Wallace runs a 4.39, Jamar Chase runs a 4.2.
Dude, I just wrote his freaking article. You guys will see that in the draft guide. And
shout out.
He like on tape, he looks like a low to mid 4.5 type guy.
Yeah, he's like. And what did Rashad Bateman run? Like a
4.37?
Yeah, okay. Fucking such a lie. Like it's not even funny. If those guys ran those times, Jamar Chase would have ran like a 4.2.
Caleb Farley ran like a 4.23. Like, okay.
Yeah, like low key though, I do think Jamar Chase, whatever he does run, it's going to be faster than people expect.
Yeah, I think it'll be mid 4.4.
I think they're probably going to get like his pro day number. It's going to be like 4.35, which is actually like a low 4.4 probably, or like a high 4.3. If you account for the fact that it's a pro day and not the combine. See, I'm really mad that the combine's not happening. I really love the combine.
I love the combine, bro. Let's get into a couple more questions. I'd take Watson or Russ. Yeah, I'm sure you would.
If you currently are dealing with Derek Carr, then you would definitely prefer Watson or Russell Wilson.
Yeah, bro. If they just gave up like fucking Carr and like 2 firsts for Russ, imagine.
See, I always thought that Jameis Winston was going to end up going to the Raiders at some point because John Gruden loves Jameis Winston. Like, he loves him. And I also think he's just far better than Derek Carr. Like, nothing against Derek Carr. I think he's a good player, but I think Jameis Winston's like a top 20 quarterback in the league, and I'm not even capping.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Rashad Bateman prospects. I mean, I can
back-to-back Bateman questions here too.
Yeah. I see something similar to like a Keenan Allen, Michael Thomas type, good possession underneath type receiver who every now and then can stretch you out vertically, but he's not a guy that you want to be putting into those type of situations.
He's also not overly explosive after the catch either. He's like he's a great receiver. I think he does pretty much everything you can ask of him, but he is going to need to be in a spot where he has potential to be a number 1 target in an offense. So I bring this up all the time. If Allen Robinson leaves Chicago and Rashad Bateman can just slot right into Allen Robinson's role, like that would be ideal because an Allen Robinson type player is the ceiling for Rashad Bateman.
Yeah, 100%. Actually, if you guys want more information on Bateman, and we're going to be talking about Waddle as well, make sure you go check out the prospect battles for this week because we're rolling up the sleeves. Have to do that, and we're getting to work.
Shirt.
No, it's a long sleeve shirt. I just roll up sleeves because I'm a beast, I didn't realize my sleeves were already rolled up, but what do you guys think of Bateman? That 40 times seems fishy. Yeah, 40 times is absolutely fishy.
There's no way Rashad Bateman runs a 4.3. Yeah. I'd actually be shocked if Rashad Bateman's even in the 4.4s, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I can see high 4.4s, low 4.5s is probably right.
That would be great. If Rashad Bateman cracks the 4.4s, that's a huge win for him because I personally don't see that kind of speed. And that's not a problem. As long as a receiver, and I talked about this in our draft guide in the benchmarks part of how to evaluate receivers, like some analytical benchmarks that matter. One of them is that you want your receivers to be faster than 4.6, but like after that, it really doesn't matter. Like a 4.55 receiver versus a 4.42 receiver really doesn't make that much of a difference in terms of fantasy production. So as long as the guy's under 4.6, which is, I think Rashad Bateman, if he's under 4.6, he's fine. Because his hallmark isn't speed. He doesn't really need speed to be productive for what he does.
What about Jarvis Landry? Didn't he run like a 4.73?
Yeah, so did Keenan Allen ran like a 4.74, I think.
I think Keenan was coming off a knee injury, to be fair, but yeah, fuck.
Yeah, it was a bad time.
Yeah. Sleeper rookie running backs.
I think Chubb Hubbard's is a sleeper rookie running back, man, honestly.
Highland Hill.
That as well.
Highland Hill.
Yeah. And
I can tell you who's not a sleeper rookie running back. That's Jamar Jefferson.
Rakeem Boyd. Rakeem Boyd.
No, I actually think, okay, so real quick, I just want to make the case for Chuba Hubbard. Everyone knows who Chuba Hubbard is probably because he went for like 2,000 yards 2 years ago. But the thing that I took away from watching him, I expected him to just be a bad player. This dude was hurt, man. Like there's no 2 ways about it. This guy was hurt, and you can't tell me otherwise. And we saw with Bryce Love 2 years ago that sometimes when you go back to school, it's the wrong decision and you end up being banged up. And unfortunately for Bryce Love, he had 4th round draft capital, which virtually like nixed all of his fantasy value because you generally just don't have that kind of investment from your GM and your coaching staff. And on top of that, his GM and coaching staff got fired right after they drafted him too. So if Chuba Hubbard gets draft capital, if he gets 2nd, 3rd round draft capital, I really am going to be in on him as a sleeper rookie running back because I do think he was severely impacted by the ankle injury that he was dealing with at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I mean, right now I think I currently have him in my fringe top 25 to 30 overall rookies. And I mean, if that's the case, you're able to get him in the late 2nd, early 3rd round area. I would absolutely be in on him in that sort of situation.
And even his 2019 film had flaws. He wasn't like some super prospect unless like in 2019, but he was definitely a solid prospect in 2019. He would have been a 2nd round pick for sure.
Probably an early 2nd round pick, to be honest, probably in around the top 50 type range. And then this year, again, you mentioned he was playing hurt. He didn't look the same. I really am intrigued to see what type of draft capital he does have. And if teams are really willing to do their due diligence on him and recognize the fact that he was playing hurt because it was so evident when you watched him.
Keyshawn Vaughn was a 3rd round pick last year. A.J. Dillon was a 2nd round pick last year. Zach Moss was a 3rd round pick last year. I seriously think Chuba Hubbard's going to get 2nd, 3rd round draft capital just because there's actually quite a bit of running back needy teams around the league. And a lot of coaches are probably going to have the same thought process that I have is that this guy was hurt and they'll actually have access to information proving that he was hurt if they do their digging on him or whatever.
Yeah.
So I seriously think someone's going to convince himself that this guy's a 2nd round running back.
For sure. Lamar Jackson's trade value in a Superflex 6-point passing TD league, it's still top 15 or 16 in my opinion, overall player. I mean, to me, again, you guys are going to see, if you guys do have the draft guide, you guys are going to see our quarterback ranks. And I don't think any one of us has him outside of our top 7 or 8 overall dynasty quarterbacks. And if that's the case,
I have him QB 7, but I have it's all a tier. It's all one tier from 2 to 7 for me. I think I have Josh Allen at 2 and Lamar at 7. They're all in the same tier.
Lamar's at like 8 or 9. I think I'll be the lowest on him because I have Burrow and Herbert as like 6, 7. Yeah, he's 8. He's 8 for me.
Yeah, let me just take a quick look here. I believe he is 7 for me. So I currently have him.
Tannehill, Wilson at 9, and then Burrow at 10, if I'm not mistaken. I think I have Herbert at like 4 or 5, though. So like I
have Lamar at 6 right now. Actually, I'll just read it off. You guys are here. I'll give you guys a little sneak peek because you guys are in this live stream. Appreciate you guys a ton. So after Patrick Mahomes, again, you mentioned that like 2 to 7 type tier. That's about how I have it as well. I currently have it as Josh Allen at 2, Dak 3, Watson 4, Kyler 5, Lamar 6, and then Justin Herbert 7. And then you get into the next tier of like the Herberts, or sorry, not the Herberts, the Tannehills, the Wilsons, the Lawrences, Burrows, and then the other rookie quarterbacks. So gave you guys a little sneak peek. I mean,
there's a big time, in my opinion, for dynasty quarterbacks in general. There's like a big time drop off after like 15. Because I think I have Tom Brady like QB 16 in dynasty quarterbacks. I don't care that he's 43 years old. He's going to play 2 to 3 more years, and he's going to be elite in those 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, I do have Tom Brady a good bit lower, but that's because of the perceived market value that he'll have.
To me, I can't comprehend someone saying that they would rather have Daniel Jones than Tom Brady. Right? Like, because Daniel Jones might not have a starting job in a year from now. Like, Tom Brady's going to not only have a starting job a year from now, he's going to be a top 10 quarterback this year.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be a top 10 quarterback next year and maybe even after that.
Well, I do have a question, though, because you mentioned Tannehill, and Jay's sitting right here, and it's just like, the Titans lost their offensive coordinator. Do you have any thoughts on, like, what could potentially change the offensive scheme?
A lot less play action, most likely, because again, Arthur Smith's calling for a play action game.
Scheme, supposedly, like the offensive coordinator that is taking over is basically the same school of play calling or whatever. But it definitely is a question mark. Like I always talk about checking boxes when you go through with the Titans players, AJ Brown and Tannehill and stuff. That's a question mark that they have this year that they didn't have last year. But last year they had the question mark of like, oh well, is this repeatable? Because they were super efficient last year. So I actually have less questions about them going into this year than I did about them going into last year in terms of like how good their offense is going to be.
Yeah, no, I do agree. Because last year you wanted to see if it was sustainable other than that stretch. This year, you already know, hey, they did it for a full 16-game sample size. We know what they are.
It probably does take a bit of a downtick, especially with Corey Davis probably leaving, Jonnu Smith maybe leaving as well. It's probably going to take a bit of a downtick, but I still think it's going to be a top 10 offense in the NFL.
Agreed. Like right now, if you were to ask me gun to my head right now, who I would rather have in Dynasty between Ryan Tannehill and Russell Wilson, it would be Ryan Tannehill.
It would be Ryan Tannehill for me as well.
Yeah. So that might sound like a hot take to a lot of people. And right now, Russ is probably going to be a late second, while Tannehill's probably going to be a late third. If you could flip Russell Wilson for Tannehill plus like a late second, even a third round pick, which is probably going to be the value you can get for him, I would absolutely take that in an instant, because people are still down on Tannehill. They want to view him as that unknown, even though in reality he's been one of the most efficient quarterbacks
He's like
in the
literally
league over the year, last year and a half.
Back in the league, if you go by advanced metrics over the last few years.
Yeah, extremely efficient. And again, that offense has shown the ability, despite on having low volume, to still be super efficient and still put up a number of points. And not to mention,
how does that show in your rankings?
Well, I mean, I have Tannehill at 8 and Russell Wilson at 9.
I think
so like
I'll
we're neck and
probably
neck.
be back same, to be honest.
Yeah. So, you can absolutely capitalize on that value.
You're in the same tier, so it is close, but I do have Tannehill out of Russ.
Agreed.
I could change if Russ goes to a situation if he gets traded or something like that, but as it currently stands, Seattle doesn't seem to be too invested in letting Russ
go. I personally don't. I think I have Russ as my 10 and Tannehill is like 12. I mean, it's obviously close, but I mean, I have an edge for Russ just because of what he's been able to produce.
He's the more talented quarterback. I don't think I can deny that. But
Russ is a top 7 quarterback in the league minimum in terms of talent.
He's a top 4 quarterback in the league minimum, in my opinion, in terms of talent. Yeah. But talent, I mean, fantasy points sometimes.
The reason why I said top 7 is because the top 7 for me, like, you arrange them in any order you want. You got your Mahomes, you got your Watsons, you got your Daks, you got your Russell Wilsons. You got your Josh Allens, and then you got who am I missing there? Aaron Rodgers.
I mean, Jay goes. Imagine Russell Wilson with an offensive line and a running back going to the Raiders. I mean, where do you put him there? Is he? How do you see him then?
That'd be an interesting spot
if that happened, because Ruggs would be phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, that would be fun. I'm curious to see how it would shape out with the receiving core. Again, like Henry Ruggs would be the presumed favorite because you got a similar guy like Tyler Lockett.
If Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson goes to Carolina, I'm not even capping DJ Moore's top 3 dynasty receiver for me.
Really? Top 3?
I'm not even kidding. I would put him that high.
Really?
I love DJ Moore, man. I think he's so good. I think the way that DJ Moore has been shafted, he's like the new Allen Robinson. If you think of what DeAndre Hopkins was before Deshaun Watson got there, that is basically the production that DJ Moore has been putting up with terrible quarterback play, with Kyle Allen, with Teddy Bridgewater, and freaking like these slappies. Like, give him a real quarterback like Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson. DJ Moore would feast 1,500 yards and like 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. The problem that I find with that, though, is I'm fine if you say like top 6. But
he's also like 22.
Top 3 to me is still a little bit of a stretch because, I mean, I'm still looking at it. Devonta Adams, Tyreek Hill, and Stephon Diggs just aren't leaving that top 3 spots for me personally. But, yeah, like I can see like in that tier with like Justin Jefferson, A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, he could have a really good case of heading that tier again.
On a rebuild team, I would rather have DJ more than Devonta Adams.
Maybe.
That might be a hot take. But anyway, Derek Carr's QB class was so bad, so he was the best option. Yes, his QB class was pretty bad.
Miles Sanders or Mixon, break these guys down, redraft, half PPR. So my preferred option here is Miles Sanders. My preferred option here is Miles Sanders. I'm just looking at it from a standpoint, whose situation presents the most upside, in my opinion. Well, first of all, I do think Miles Sanders has an opportunity to catch more passes than what Joe Mixon provided, because let's be honest here, we've seen Joe Mixon for 4 years. He is not that guy who has that 50, 55 reception type upside, which I do think Miles Sanders does present. And Miles Sanders has shown that he has the breakaway ability to really score from any point on the field. Now, I don't think either of their offenses are going to be putting them in great positions, so I'll take the guy who can create more on his own, which I do think Miles Sanders presents.
And Miles Sanders has the additional aspect that his quarterback is going to be a huge rushing threat, so he might see some easier running lanes.
Lighter boxes.
Plus, honestly, like I hate using talent as a tiebreaker. I do think Miles Sanders is the better player as well. I think Joe Mixon has proven that he's a good running back, but his ceiling is like high-end RB2, low-end RB1. And that's including Joe Burrow. If Joe Burrow is phenomenal next year, I still think that's Mixon's ceiling because they're just so continuously set on using Gio Bernard in a featured role, like a way more feature than he should be. And I think Miles Sanders actually does have a chance now that Doug Peterson's gone. We don't have to worry about committees to be a 3-down running back. And he's a guy that's a complete type, post-type sleeper from last year.
Yep, for sure. So Into the Board says also, what other rookie quarterbacks could be impactful outside of the top 6? First of all, it's not a top 6. It's
So to me, it's a top 4 and Mac Jones. That's the way I look at the rookie quarterbacks in this class, because I think the top 4 guys are bona fide fantasy studs in waiting. Like whenever they develop.
Top 12 overall dynasty type quarterbacks.
And I think Mac Jones is going to get the draft capital that dictates that he's going to be valuable for fantasy, just because he's going to get a lot of opportunities. I mean, outside of those 5 guys, I think Kellen Mond has some upside. I think depending on
Jamie Newman,
I think where he goes in the NFL draft is going to be intriguing. I honestly, this isn't a very good quarterback class though. So if I'm being honest, I don't really think anybody has that much upside outside of the top 5 guys.
Felipe Franks will be what Jacoby Brissett is right now. I hope he goes behind an old quarterback that can't throw deep balls just so he gets one play a game.
Imagine.
So he goes behind Big Ben.
Bro, I saw oh my God, I saw something on Twitter. You guys know Jim Nagy, like the Senior Bowl guy? Okay, so he tweeted out like a video of like Felipe Franks in the Senior Bowl just throwing an interception, and like I guess like his wrist snapped and he got a lot of velocity on it, and he's like, not a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL today can make this throw, and it was literally a fucking interception.
Felipe Franks can throw 80-yard bombs, but they're not accurate, and he throws questions time.
Like so can Brock Osweiler, but he's not a quarterback.
And it's like cool, yeah, it's a nice looking throw. Like he could generate a lot of velocity, but what was the end result of the play? He fucking threw a pick. Like I don't understand people's fascination at times, but yeah. Let's get into some more. Suzuki says, as a Panthers fan, would you rather us give up 3 first-round picks in CMC for Watson or take a chance at Trey Lance?
First of all, I'd rather take a chance at Trey Lance, and that's nothing against Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson is the second best quarterback in the NFL. That is literally no cap. But
I think he's fifth. But
Panthers have the best nest for a rookie quarterback in the NFL right now, and Trey Lance is a guy that has as much physical tools as anybody in the NFL. And if you get him with Joe Brady and you get him with Matt Rule, he's going to be a superstar quarterback. And I'll put that in writing right now. Whatever quarterback the Panthers take is going to be awesome if they take one in the NFL.
And that's a generous price, saying you're only going to give up 3 first rounders.
And like that's the other thing too. You don't have to give up all that. Like you have to give up CMC and all these like picks and stuff. Watson's the proven asset, but I think you guys are in a position as Carolina is, and as much as I hate to admit this as a Bucs fan, you guys are in a position that you're going to be good for a long time, in my opinion, if you get a good quarterback.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a weird situation. I honestly don't think Trey Lance makes it to 7, so you might have to part some capital to move up for him. But regardless, whatever rookie quarterback lands with the Panthers, because
they're going to make QB1 potentially. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. I might make them my QB1.
That's fair. So we'll get into some more of the questions. We got into the boards again. He said, I heard Jamar is bad. What should I know?
All right, Tyler, where should we start here? Jamar Jefferson is bad. Let's go. He is not good. Jamar Jefferson is basically Kalen Ballage. That's the best way I can describe him. He's a big running back. He has the BMI Twitter people love him because he's 217 and he's 5'10". He can run pretty fast. I'm not like even saying he's really fast. He's like a 4.4 running back. That's 217. Yeah. But this man has no lateral agility. He can't catch the ball. His receiving metrics are terrible. His elusiveness metrics are terrible, so he can't make anyone really miss. He's a big running back that can run fast and break some contact. That's basically what he brings to the table.
And we've both seen
aside from
go for it.
Yeah, sorry. I guess I'll just go on my real quick run here.
Go for it.
He can't pass block. He has no receiving upside. His best trait is being able to break away from guys. So instantly when I see that on film, and I wrote his article, you'll see it in the draft guide, another plug. Instantly when I see that, kid is going to be great as a special teamer. So I can't wait for him to be return passes. If you're one of those weird leagues, and maybe there's one out of every 50 where they have special team scoring, I'd recommend Jamar Jefferson. However, he's not going to matter in real fantasy, and we're going to see him die off.
He's honestly just not very good in my opinion. I don't really understand what people see in him. My interpretation is that people that like Jamar Jefferson haven't actually watched him on film. That's the only explanation I can have, because I don't see how you can watch Jamar Jefferson and be like, yeah, this guy's an elusive running back. This guy's good in the receiving game. This guy's good in pass protection. This guy can have fantasy, because really all he can do is be big, fast, and break some contact. And when I say break some contact, he's really not even that great against in contact balance too.
Yeah.
So He really only has like 2 good traits about him, in my opinion.
Agreed. By the way, I'm not sure if you guys saw me just like go like that, like for a second there.
Yeah, fair enough.
I just saw. Sorry, I was just gonna say I just saw
real quick while we're on Jamar Jefferson. Into the boards just followed up. He says the Ray guy has him high. So yeah, Ray GQ is who you're talking about, and basically what you're seeing, the reason Jamar Jefferson has hype is because Ray GQ has him high. He has a lot of influence,
a lot of fish in the industry.
He has a lot of influence on people who people like, and some people, and I'm pointing names right now. I'm not calling out names, but I'm pointing fingers right now because some people will literally just listen to what Ray GQ says, and rightfully so. He knows what he's talking about, but he has his guy. I understand it. I have my guys. Tyler has his guy. He is Kylan Hill. But I don't see it with Jamar Jefferson. And I think a lot of people that are just blindly following the Jamar Jefferson thing have not actually watched him play, and I would encourage a lot of people to do that.
100%.
He said what RBs over him. I personally like Chuba Hubbard over him, as I mentioned. I like Michael Carter over him. I like Kenneth Gainwell. The top 3, of course, are all over him.
Do you like Kylan over him? I mean, I'm kind of biased.
I do like Kylan Hill over him. And I'm not the biggest Kylan Hill fan, and I like Kylan Hill over Jamar Jefferson. I like Trace Sermon over Jamar Jefferson. Jamar Jefferson is the lowest graded running back that I have graded of the 9 players so far.
And Larry we haven't even talked about
seriously.
We haven't even talked about guys that like I personally haven't even watched yet, but
I haven't watched Elijah Mitchell yet. I know
Elijah Mitchell's
he has some upside. He's got some size to him too, and I know he's got some speed. So like honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Jamar Jefferson ends up being my RB10.
Khalil Herbert.
He's actively my 13 right now. And I've watched a lot of people. If you check out the draft guide into the boards, please actually do so. You'll see that I kind of wrote the majority of the running backs, kind of took the spearheading of most of those guys. And I really do not have Jamar Jefferson high. He's just not a guy I'm impressed with at all. And I mean, Larry Roundtree I have above him. And that's just a 1-2 down guy, maybe. I'm not confident in him getting a role in the NFL. He just doesn't have the ability to.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say this, but I don't want to say I kind of got cut off. But the reason why I went like that for a second, like while we were talking about Jamar Jefferson, is I just saw something on Twitter where somebody compared Rashad Bateman to Terry McLaurin, and I'm like, what? I'm just explaining why I made that look, but we can carry on.
So anyways. Terry McLaurin runs a 4.3 flat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't.
Man. Tannehill.
Yeah, Tannehill's like one of the most underrated dynasty assets you can have right now. So as you can tell, we're pretty high on him.
Yeah, we love him. I'm excited to start reading the guides. You guys know if the dynasty listener.
It is for you, Spicy Hot. You're in. You're in. Nothing to worry about. Once we get the actual league filled out, whether we add in a couple more people, like currently right now we have 10 people in it. People who pre-order the guide. I'm not opposed to just doing a 10-man dynasty league. Honestly,
I'm not opposed to it either.
Because I want to reward the people who pre-order this. So if you guys want to be in this and make this a 12-manner, make sure you guys pre-order in the next couple hours here. We're going to be releasing the guide tomorrow, probably around 9 a.m. or noon or something like that. So if you get your pre-order in before then, you'll have a chance to be in the dynasty league, or you might just be slotted right into it. So if you want to get in, you still have a chance. But Spicy, you got nothing to worry about. You're in.
Yeah, and for those of you who are watching and love it and enjoy the content and are here and are supportive, get in that league with us. Take that chance. Take real opportunity. Yeah, sure, but
you're not taking my money because I'm gonna win.
Oh, bro, I'm winning it. Come on.
I won our listener league last year.
Hey, yeah, you won the redraft. You won redraft. How do I do in Dynasty? We both know.
Dynasty is redraft to me. I just draft like I'm drafting in a redraft league.
Yeah, but you have to know how to accumulate the value from a dynasty perspective.
I
know how to do that. Yeah, sure. Big Blaze. Oh, he's talking about your cigar. I love that. What do you auction? What are your auction terms?
I honestly,
never played.
Unfortunately, we don't have any auction draft values because I personally have never played in an auction draft, so I don't feel.
I'd be down to try one, to be honest.
Advice on it.
I'd be down to try one, to be honest.
I would 100% be down to try it, but I've never played in one, so I can't really be giving anyone advice on it. I know Fantasy Pros has a lot of resources related to auction drafts that you can check out. I know the general underlying theory of auction drafts is to get workhorse running backs. I know that's a very popular thing.
Yeah, exactly. As a Gators fan, I can confirm Franks is trash.
Yeah,
there you go.
Terrible. Yes, he is. And I think this is why a lot of Gator fans have bias on Trask, is because of like what we had to suffer through for like 4 years, 5 years without like from Tebow to then Trask. Like we had nothing. So, Frank's horrible. He literally makes me cry at night. except the one time he beat Tennessee. Thanks for that one.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate that into the boards. Glad we were
while
able
you
to
guys
help.
are down there, if you want to hit the like button, that would help us out tremendously as well.
For sure. And as always, if you are new to the channel and you want to help us grow and you enjoy the content,
and we always appreciate hockey people too.
100%, eh?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's get spicy.
Florida boys, we know hockey.
There you go. So JC Horn to the Cardinals at 16. I mean, if the two top corners are gone prior to the Cowboys pick at 10, you probably won't get Horn at 16. But if the Cowboys get one of those, either Farley or Surtain, like Horn at 16 would be an incredible value for the Cardinals, in my opinion. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's so feisty at the line of scrimmage, plays with such physicality, such swagger.
Let me tell you.
He's fun. He's fun. If you want to watch some fun film, oh my God. Which game was it? There was one game in particular where literally he absolutely, yeah. It was against Auburn. He absolutely blanketed Seth Williams and got 3 picks in that game as well.
You know how he did that? Seth Williams sucks.
That works too, but yeah.
Anthony Schwartz though, that guy's bad.
Yeah, dude. Wide receiver 4. No, I'm kidding. Thoughts on Will Fuller joining the Titans if Davis leaves? I don't hate the.
That'd be a much better fit for
AJ Brown.
I think rather than having Corey Davis, I think that actually makes a lot more sense. Is Will Fuller being on that team there?
Yeah, I agree. That'd be fun. So Suzuki says, as someone who just started fantasy as a whole, how much does this guide cost y'all getting stomped? So the guide, if actually I'll send you to the link right now.
Yeah. So as of right now, Suzuki, I can't pronounce your name, but as of right now, if you order it right now, if you use code 10 off, and this applies to any of you guys will get $10 off. We have a one-time code that you guys can use. And you'll have a chance to get into the Listener Dynasty League. So if you go to our website, fantasystockexchange.com, and you pre-order the guide and use code 10 off at checkout, you will get the redraft and dynasty guide for $20 instead of $30, which is the original price. And you'll get both of them, which will have a redraft guide in the future, for $40 if you use code 10 off. So if any of you guys are in here, you're maybe on the fence, $10 off I just gave you.
For sure. And I just pinned the website link so you guys can see that in the chat. It'll take a second to load up on our StreamYard. But yeah, you guys can see that pinned message right now. If you guys want more information on the draft guide, seeing whether you want to get both guides, whether you will get one guide, etc., seeing the packages available.
Tyler is giving away a free jersey as well. So you could get in a Listener Dynasty League with us for $20 and potentially win a free jersey. So, and I mean, you're going to lose your money in the Listener Dynasty League because I'm in it. So.
Oh, shit. That's easy. That's easy.
Never mind, I'm broke, he said.
All good, man.
I feel that.
Is JJ Watt on a new team? He will be soon. Don't you worry. And is Deshaun Watson on a new team? Yeah, he definitely will be.
Javon, if you haven't downloaded Sleeper yet, I highly suggest you do so because you'll get live updates in case anything happens, especially with free agency coming up in the next couple of weeks. It's really helpful to have.
Yeah, for sure. Javon, man, let's get that guide. We need you in the league, brother. We need to see how stacked your team is in a league with us.
Facts.
By the way, Tyler, if you don't know, Javon had like the most stacked team.
He would ask us like, should I start Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, or Nick Chubb? Like that was like his question.
Every week. Yeah, this guy was just running through his league mates like it was nothing.
That's free.
Buy the guide. I'm giving. Yeah, there you go. Listen to Tyler. He's giving away that free jersey.
Free money.
Yeah, for sure. Never mind.
Sell the jersey. I don't give a shit.
Cop the guide so we can. Yeah, there you go. Let's make it a 12-man league. You guys want to make that competitive, right? It's a certain jersey, whichever jersey you want, Spicy Hot. Whichever one you want.
Okay, guys, it's literally whatever you tell me. You tell me what you want, and I give it to you. It's like this is free money. You'll be like, I want a Larry Fitzgerald throwback jersey, and then I'm gonna get them to sign it so they can I can sell it on eBay. I don't give a shit what you do with it. But yes, it's literally whatever jersey you want. And Spicy Hot,
you're already in the giveaway, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you're.
Heck, maybe I might just buy the guide just to freaking get in the giveaway.
Facts.
He's a smart guy. He's a smart guy. Ben, I don't know why you haven't bought it. You're agitating me. You're getting in my head.
JJ needs to be on the Packers. Yeah, that would be fun as well. No, man, I broke. No worries, Javon. No worries. We just like to see your support in the streams as well. You're one of the most committed subscribers we have. So thank you for that.
Ben, buy the goddamn draft guide.
Buy it, Ben. We're waiting.
More with you.
Yeah, for real.
Ben, we want to be in a fantasy league with you. I'm partnering with Jay. Me and Jay are running the fucking town on everyone. because we're going to be running co-own. Like, let's go. Why are you about the guy? Come on, figure it out.
Yeah.
I guess we haven't really talked about this yet, but we're going to live stream the draft for this too. We're going to make some content around this. So if you guys are in the league, it'll be really cool. So anyways, we're going to stop self-advertising. Keep asking us questions.
Yeah, keep asking us questions. I feel like a degenerate now just promoting.
Yeah. As you can tell, we're broke too. So
yeah.
How about you get the jersey of the player who wins you the fucking your guys' league. Whoever wins your league, why don't you just get his jersey? Because that's just like
I'm winning. Bush, I'm winning it.
Who won the listener league last year, Danny?
You won the redraft league. I won the dynasty. There's a difference.
You didn't win the dynasty league, did you?
Oh, not that experts league, whatever the heck that was. But I won more dynasty league, so I won 2.
Just BS
white
facts,
with red
right?
numbers, state flag on the BS facts. It's true facts. Yeah, that'd be pretty dope, Ben. So we got Javon saying, hopefully I get the same players or better. Yeah, if you can build a team like you did last year, you're definitely going to be
I
winning.
can assure you, you're not getting those players if you're in a league with me.
Yeah, 100%. I'll just take them. Well, Taysom Hill will be the starter for the Saints. I hope not.
Yeah, I think he will be, honestly. I think that's probably what's going to happen.
I hope not, man. Oh, man. Ben, what do you think about Demetric Felton, the running back out of UCLA? I haven't really gotten.
You know, this is such a lazy comparison, but he kind of reminds me of Josh Kelly because he went to USC. Like, he doesn't really remind me of Josh Kelly because they don't really play the same. But like the type of draft capital, the type of like fantasy impact that he'll probably have is probably like Josh Kelly. He might be like useless for the first in people's minds, and then he might come out and actually be kind of somewhat useful at the beginning of the season, then fade into oblivion like Josh Kelly does.
Give me Tariq Cohen, please.
Yeah, Felton's got some upside, though. He's good in the receiving game. I think in terms of the Senior Bowl, I'm pretty sure he performed pretty well by most reports that I've seen. So,
yeah,
I mean, he might actually get drafted in like the 4th round, something like that. And at that point, he might be worth a dart throw.
I just saw a comment on the channel, by the way, on our rookie mock. Somebody said super flexes for super scrubs.
Yeah, that's funny as hell.
Okay.
Amen. Superflex needs to die.
So no, I love Superflex for Dynasty.
Superflex is blessed.
Who do you think will be the rookie of the year for 2021? Probably Trevor Lawrence, to be honest.
Highland Hill, baby.
I mean, Justin Herbert. Well, I'm going to stick by it. Whoever goes to Carolina, if Carolina drafts a quarterback, they're going to be the rookie of the year.
I like it. I like the hot take. Hot. Okay, what am I clicking here? Oh, would you rather have him or Javion Hawkins?
It honestly just depends who gets higher draft capital and what like the situation probably, because like in terms of like prospects, they're probably on the same type of level. So if one goes in the 4th round and one goes in the 7th round, then whatever one went in the 4th round will probably have higher.
Dalton,
yeah, 100%. Is Cam Akers finishing top 7? Or am I crazy? Well, according to Bush, he is for sure.
So
yeah, there you go.
He's ranked like 14th running back, so I kind of just feel like I'm out of the loop here. I don't know.
I don't even know where I have him. I haven't done my redraft rankings yet, but he'll probably be in like that 8 or 9 type area. They've changed a little bit since our video that we had. So, is Aaron Jones on the free agency? Yeah, he's going to be a free agent unless the Packers want to tag him because they don't.
What you're saying, Danny?
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
They're going to let him walk, man. It sounds like by all the if you guys don't follow NFL rumors on Twitter, they like tweet out rumors constantly. I'm not really sure where they get their sources, but I'm gullible as shit, so I just believe them. I always see them like Aaron Jones is going to be a hard target for the Dolphins, or like New York Jets going hard. Like I just keep seeing rumors about Aaron Jones not being in Green Bay when it's making me think that he's probably not going to be there.
Mm-hmm. Could very well happen.
He definitely could do it. Saquon's a freak of nature. If he's going to come back off of an ACL tear and rush for 2,000 yards like Adrian Peterson, he could definitely do it.
Yeah, for sure. Is any Packers player beside Jones in the free agency?
I think Jamal Williams is also a free agent.
Yep. Starting center, Corey Linsley.
Yeah, Corey Linsley, their center, is a free agent. And he said, I think he was on Sirius XM or something, and he said, like, he is expected he's going to leave. I'm not really sure why you wouldn't franchise tag him if you're Green Bay. I'm not really sure why he'd be just walking. He made the All-Pro team this past year.
Yeah. I don't see top 12 personally. You could probably convince me 15 to 20.
If AJ Dillon's a starting running back, he's going to have some kind of compliment with him. They're either going to draft the guy. Or they're going
Michael
to
Carter.
sign Jamal Williams.
Michael Carter makes a ton of sense if they don't sign Williams or Jones.
Javonte Williams. Oh my God, give me that. You said Williams.
AJ Dillon's a good prospect. I really liked AJ Dillon. I'm like the only person in the world who liked AJ Dillon coming out of school. I thought he was like a better version of like what Jordan Howard can bring. I thought he's like a good runner. Like he's a great runner of the football. And if Aaron Jones leaves, AJ Dillon's probably going to be like a touchdown dependent RB2 at best. But like I still think in the offense that he's in, he could definitely be a RB15 with the amount of touchdown opportunities he's going to get in Green Bay.
Yep, I see it. So we got Javon again.
Yeah, Robert Tonyan's a free agent too. Nate just said. I forgot about that. Yeah, I think he's an RFA though, isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. RFA, yeah.
When do I think Tom Brady will retire? Probably after he makes his third Hall of Fame career. Out of his, I honestly don't think Tom Brady's retiring anytime soon. To be honest, I think he's probably going to be around for a year or two still. At least,
dude's crazy, bro. Yeah, we got to it. Is Big Ben going to tank the Steelers receivers value? Yeah, if Big Ben's a starting quarterback in 2021, I am concerned. However, with Juju leading, the
guy who doesn't tank the value of, in my opinion, is Deontay Johnson.
Yeah, I agree.
He's so close to the line of scrimmage that it doesn't really matter to me if Ben's the quarterback. He hurts Claypool more than he hurts Johnson, in my opinion.
And I actually went through this today because, again, I wrote up Tylan Wallace. And the ideal fit I see for Wallace, if he can play that Z slot type receiver for the Steelers, be in or around the line of scrimmage, provide that security. Because again, he had a really low drop rate last year in college. He can kind of replace that Juju Smith-Schuster role of being that possession underneath type.
I think they're going to use Deontay that way.
The problem with that is Deontay Johnson had over a 13% drop rate last year. They had four receiving weapons last year with a 10% or higher drop rate.
Is James Washington low-key a sleeper, or am I just tripping?
Well, I was actually going to mention Deontay Johnson was at 13. James Washington was at just over 12. And I believe the other two were Eric Ebron and there was one other. It wasn't Chase Claypool.
Steelers player.
It wasn't Chase Claypool or James Conner. So
True.
4 of them. So it's interesting. I do think, though, if Tylan Wallace landed with the Steelers, let's just say at the end of their second round with that pick, I think that would be a pretty good fit in terms of what they want to do schematically. Because
I don't think they'd spend the high draft capital on a receiver, to be honest. I think what I would do if I was Pittsburgh, I'd leave the 3 receivers I have and then sign John Ross or sign like someone like that.
They need a possession guy, man.
Something like that, just to add a 4th receiver. I don't think I think James Washington's a capable number 3.
They need a reliable weapon, man. They have like all the receivers. Yeah, but he's not reliable. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have hands.
He knows he's going to get better at catching the ball. He can improve in that. Claypool is pretty reliable too.
Chase Claypool was actually good, about 6%. But I want a guy like if I'm going to get a compliment for the score, I want a guy who just can routinely and reliably catch the football. And Deontay Johnson, James Washington have proven that, quite frankly, they're not able to do that at this point. So I want a guy who can step in, be that third down type role, be that red zone type role, that kind of what Juju was. Because again, Juju Smith-Schuster, while he wasn't stretching the field vertically, was so reliable in the underneath game. I mean, 3% drop rate on the amount of targets that he had last year. I mean, his role was invaluable to that team. I just don't think they're going to be able to bring him back in free agency.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance that Juju comes back to the Steelers, to be honest.
So we'll get into it. I want Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry for my running backs. You're going to need
get that. I'm going to honestly ask to be in your league.
Yeah, Javon, I need to hear how many people are in your league. Like, please comment down below because if that's even possible, you can get those 2 guys. Like,
both of those guys are top 6 picks, probably top 4 picks, to be honest, in any fantasy league. So if you're in a league with 3 people, that makes sense.
Yeah. Dwayne Haskins is still play and support a wide receiver 1, in my opinion. I don't agree.
I'll trust your word on that one, Don. I don't think Dwayne Haskins is shit, to be honest. I think he's terrible.
Yeah, you said Deontay Johnson, but again, I want that more of like a reliable.
I think he could support Deontay Johnson, but I don't think he would support Chase Claypool.
Jared. What's up, Jared? Let's go, sexy Pats in the cut. Yeah, your Jets kind of make me heartbroken over these last couple nights, but it's all good. We got to get over it. Question: that's a valuable question, and to be honest.
I just put mine out. This is about as low as I got. I mean, that's pretty good numbers right there, in all honesty.
Yeah, I usually get about here.
If my fingers start getting hot, I'm like, I got to cut it. But, I make it get low. I'm paying good money for this. I'm getting high-end Ebor cigars. Pure Cuban. Let's go.
Exactly. Well, I didn't notice cigars. I love it. There you go.
Subscriber right there because of me. You're welcome.
If I didn't smoke yesterday, I would have smoked one on stream for you also.
I haven't put any smoke in my body for like a year and a half. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a recovering nicotine addict, so.
Yeah, for sure. What was I gonna say? Oh, Tyler still looks weird without the shades. Yeah,
Maybe
it's
I'm a
different,
beauty.
eh?
I'm a beauty. Here's the thing, and someone mentioned it earlier. I think it was Kraken Man because he saw me on Notorious all the time. So I'm trying to be a little bit more professional. I have my own personal website. So I am trying to be a little bit more professional. Shades kind of got to cut that out. We had fun with it. It was a whole year of me doing it. My eyes hurt, pain. But we're being more professional. We're giving good takes. We weren't giving good takes last year, except the CH one, forever the best take of my life. Love it.
Yeah, for sure.
I need the Henry Ruggs take to work out, so it's the best take of my life because I was Ruggs, but with you with CEH. So
yeah, me and Tyler just had that.
Knows what I'm talking about. He needs Ruggs too.
Name top 5 best receivers from 2021. Are you talking about rookie draft, or are you talking about going into the 2021 season?
Both.
Yeah, are you talking about for
go through both.
Are you talking about prospects?
We'll do both. Why not? So my top 5 rookie wide receivers in order right now. I did end up making the adjustment going into from a fantasy perspective. I do think Chase does profile a little better.
You made the change after our video.
I had to. I mean, I'm just looking at it from a profile perspective in terms of what we're representing here in fantasy football. Now, if we're talking about NFL, I do still prefer Waddle, but from fantasy football, I do like Jamar.
Why I ended up making the change because we both had Smith at one for a little bit there, but the reason why I ended up making the change was because Chase has upside still. He's not a finished product. And that's like, especially with wide receivers in fantasy, they're a dime a dozen. There's 36, 40 good wide receivers out there in fantasy. If you're going to shoot for the ceiling with Jamar, like you're going to shoot for it with Jamar Chase. Devonta Smith is much more likely to be a finished product than Jamar Chase is.
Yeah, I mean, I still have Smith higher, but in terms of Waddle, like I love what Waddle provides you from an NFL perspective, but I do think he'll provide you that T.Y. Hilton type role, whereas Jamar, I do think has that like DJ Moore type ceiling. And if you're going to compare, what do you want from your receiver, DJ Moore production or T.Y. Hilton production? It's pretty evident what you would want in fantasy. So overall, from a fantasy perspective, my top 5 rookie receivers in order would go number 1, Devonta Smith, number 2, Jamar Chase, number 3, Jaylen Waddle, number 4, Rashad Bateman, and number 5 has really been a toss-up for me lately. At one point, I did have Terrace Marshall, but after watching him a little bit more, once you mentioned Denzel Mims and I started watching him a little more in depth, I'm like, I do kind of see this.
He's just like a milk toast player to me. I'm sure he's going to be fine in the NFL, but I don't see a first-round receiver.
Like, right now, the guys I kind of have in that range for number 5 would be Elijah Moore is the 5 right now, but Elijah Moore, Terrace Marshall, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then you get into like the Rondale, Wallace, Diami Brown area. But I would say the leader.
That's the thing that I'm starting to like cool down on people like who have Rondale Moore at 5 because there is a drop off. I can understand it. If you want to have Rondale Moore at 5, he's got a pretty high ceiling. I'll give you that. Yeah. But, when you're projecting forward, and Mel Kiper talked about this on one of his like shows where he's like, he went on a huge rant. Did you see that? Where he was like, if you want to tell me that Justin Fields doesn't throw with anticipation, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that, then you're not an NFL scout. I want to see my NFL scouts project forward. If you're just telling me what a player is right now, you're not an NFL scout. You're just watching the player play. Like he went on a rant saying that Justin Fields has a super high ceiling is basically what his point was.
Yeah, no, I agree with that because people don't understand the aspect. People will just watch film and say, oh, yeah, this is what I saw on film when they don't really know what they're actually watching. They don't know how to evaluate the film. They don't know how to say, well, I saw this on film. This is what he's going to be. That's what a lot of people view it as. When in reality here, when you're watching film, you have to look for the traits. You have to look for the projectability because, again, a lot of these guys are not going to be finished products. So you got to look for who has the highest ceiling, who shows flashes that they can improve. And when you watch Justin Fields, I mean, his highs are QB1 in this class. There's points where on tape, he just makes plays that, quite frankly, like, yes, Trevor Lawrence is a lot more consistent, but Justin Fields, again, we mentioned his deep ball when we were doing the prospect battles. Justin Fields' deep ball was by far the highest in the class, not named Zach Wilson. Like, by far. And when we got through all those metrics in terms of his accuracy, in terms of all that, you can clearly see that his highs are legitimate top 7 or 8 quarterback in the league type talent. So, I mean, I do agree that to the perspective that, yes, he's not a finished product. But again, if you're drafting guys because you think they're a finished product, you should not be scouting at
There's
all.
There's probably only like 4 guys in every class that are like a finished product.
100%.
Like Chase Young was a finished product. And that's not saying he doesn't have a ceiling. It's meaning that his ceiling has already been achieved because he's so good.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And then you're looking at it. We are going to do the second part of that question. Actually, you can get through your top 5 rookie receivers. It's basically just the same, except
the same order. I just have I have Chase at 1, and I have Rashad Bateman over Jaylen Waddle. And then he also said running back, so I'll just quickly run through mine.
Yeah,
I have Travis Etienne at 1. I know Danny has Najee Harris at 1. They're 1, 2 for both of us. I have Javonte Williams at 3. Danny has Javonte Williams at 3. I believe Tyler does as well. Michael Carter at 4 and Kenneth Gainwell at 5. I don't think anybody has anything different than that order. Do you?
Yeah.
The top 2 guys?
So, I mean, I'll throw out my 5. So, my 5th receiver is Amon-Ra. So, we all have the same 4.
I have him at 6.
Order. Yeah, order doesn't really matter.
Amon-Ra's my 6 as well.
5. And then running back wise, Najee, Travis Etienne, Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, Kylan Hill. I'm huge on Kylan Hill. I'm going to keep pounding the table on him. And if he dies, he dies. If I die, I die. You know what I mean? Kirk Cousins. Love you, bro.
Same as me, except again, you switch Gainwell with Kylan Hill. But like aside from that, like we're identical there. And because we weren't sure if he meant prospects. Oh, he did say both. So we'll go into the top 5.
Let's get a couple more questions in.
Let's get a couple. We'll do it after. Yeah. We'll get more in. Is Drew Lock going to be good enough for to draft any Denver receivers? I think Courtland Sutton is one of the biggest values at the receiver position this year. People are just not talking about him at all. This is still a guy in his second season in the NFL, produced just under 1,100 yards, and I think he had like 7-8 touchdowns. And that was on a team that was just an absolute mess on offense. It's coming off the ACL. We did see the target share in that one game that he did play. I do think you're going to be able to get this guy in probably around the 7th, maybe early 8th. He probably won't make it to the 8th, but let's just say 7th round of your drafts, probably in the mid-30s, early 30s of the wide receiver type range. And if he falls there,
we're also a sleeper team to go up and try and trade up for a Trey Lance or a Zach Wilson or a Justin Fields as well too. Like I honestly don't think they're just going to be like, oh, we didn't get Deshaun Watson in a trade or whatever. We're done looking for quarterbacks. If there's a quarterback there at 9, or they can potentially get up to like 5 or 6 easily, I think they would go after one because. And I also think Jerry Jeudy's a phenomenal sleeper.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy's really good as well. And again, nobody's even talking about like Noah Fant. You could probably get him in
my 7th.
Probably the 10th. I think you could probably get him in like the 10th round in just normal tight end scoring leagues. And if you're getting a guy with that amount of upside in the 10th round, I'm taking that chance any day of the week. Because I mean, this is still one of the best athletic profiles that we've seen come into the NFL in quite some time. I think he's like 90th percentile on every single one of his athletic metrics. It's pretty fucked. But yeah, I'll definitely take the chance on a guy like Noah Fant if you can get him in like that 9th, 10th round area. Because let's be honest here, at the tight end position, you're either taking them early or you're shooting for upside late. Do not take these middling, I don't know, fucking fringe top 10 type tight ends that we're going to be seeing going in the 7th, 8th round every year. No, you want to either take them early or take the chance late. There's no in between.
And I take multiple chances late every single year. I'll go in the 13th, 14th, and 15th round of my my league's drafts. And this year, for example, I took Jonnu Smith in the 13th round. I took Logan Thomas in the 15th. I don't even remember who I took in the 14th, but I took like 3 guys like that. This year, it's going to be like Irv Smith, Cole Kmet, like a bunch of guys like that. Yeah. That's just kind of the guys I shoot for.
100%. Yep. Kyle Pitts is one as well. Do you think Jonnu Smith will be in the top 10 tight ends? I want to see where he lands.
So there's a report out there that he might be franchise tagged.
And if that's the case, and they're losing Corey Davis,
if they're losing Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith
I'm all in.
Tennessee, he's going to be my like tight end 5. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, he's going to be a top 7 or 8 tight end for me easily. And then again, I got to evaluate the situation because they could very well add someone in the draft. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant right now. But he's
his upside, a breakout candidate for me, and he's not going to be picked in the top 10 tight ends. Even if that happens, people are not going to be like, look at the splits without Corey Davis before he broke. Like, no one's going to do that. I'm telling you right now. If Corey Davis is gone, people will like Jonnu Smith, but people won't love Jonnu Smith. And I have if he and AJ Brown are the top 2 passing options in that offense, he has a chance to be a top 5 tight end. He was tight end 1 before Corey Davis started to emerge.
Yeah, fully agree. Tight ends outside of Pitts, who should I know? Well, Pat Freiermuth is the next guy, in my opinion. I mean, what we've seen from his all-around game at Penn State has been tremendous. Again, if this was a class I think, to be quite honest, if you're comparing it to last year's class, he probably would have been tight end 2 after Cole Kmet taken. I do think he's still going to be a top 50 pick.
Cole Kmet. He might have even been tight end 1.
I mean, they're close.
Pat Farmuth as the person who wrote him in the draft guide. Check it out. I would have put him above Cole Kmet. He would have been my 1. And it's tough to say because I really think he's going to be one of those guys who will always be tight end 8 finish, tight end 9, 10, 7, 5.
Hunter Henry.
At many points, he'll never be that elite guy, but I think he will be he'll get you by kind of guy.
Yeah, he's basically like, Hunter Henry.
I would say outside of Pat Freiermuth, it's honestly going to be draft capital dependent. If Brevin Jordan gets good draft capital,
Hunter Long,
you need to know. Tommy Tremble's a guy that you probably need to know as well. Matt Bushman from BYU is a guy that you need to know because I think he's a really good sleeper tight end. He opted out of this past season. He would have probably had a phenomenal season if he would have came back with the way Zach Wilson played, but I think those are probably the primary guys that you want to know. I know who's the guy on Georgia? McKitty's fun. He's a guy that a lot of people are giving some buzz to. That's pretty much it for the tight end class. It's really Kyle Pitts is the dude. Like it's Kyle Pitts and everybody else.
Yep, 100%. Okay, I'm not even going to acknowledge that, Paulo. You know my answer.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah, what's up, Colts? Nice seeing a new name in the chat. Love that.
Yeah.
Guys, watch Jonathan Taylor have 1,500 yards. Let's hope so, because I have him as a keeper in my main money league. So let's hope so. Fingers crossed, man. Go Colts. Washington is so slept on. Football team all the way. Yeah, I personally think they're the second best team in our division, quite frankly. And if they had a quarterback, they are fucking scary. To
Give
be
him
quite
Sam
honest.
Darnold, man. Give him Sammy D.
I don't care. I don't care about Sam D.
And I've always liked Sam Darnold. I think if he went to a team like that, he'd actually have a fighting chance.
Okay, I'm talking about like if they got like Russ or Watson, I would be fucking scared. But
for sure, but
I
even if it's Sam Darnold, I think they're better than they were last year.
Oh yeah, definitely. Imagine I got. How is that even possible? Like what? Oh man, those are like all aside from the kicker and the defense. Those are all like top 4 round picks, and most of them are top 2 round picks, top 15 type picks.
Yeah, Bucks defense, top 15 pick. You heard it.
It's science. No, okay, I'm not acknowledging that again, Paulo. Come on. What's with the bandana, Danny? I dig it. Yeah, bro. You know,
it's changing. Love that.
Huh? Yeah, mid PFB. He's got the Matthews. Gotta respect it.
Ozzy, let's go. Love that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, when I started on the channel, just threw it on and said, hey, yeah, that looks pretty good. So
yeah, I'd wear one too, but it would give me acne.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think about Carson Wentz trade? I think it's a win-win for both sides. Compensation does seem a little high on surface, but if you're getting anywhere close to what we've seen even in 2019 from Wentz, I do think that is a fair.
Yeah, I think it revived Carson Wentz's value in a lot of ways. I also think the bigger takeaway is obviously what happens in Philadelphia without Carson Wentz. Now there's some clarity at the QB position. Jalen Hurts immediately becomes like a top 15 dynasty quarterback, in my opinion. I'm not ready to put him up in like I know some people will put him up like top 8 dynasty quarterbacks. I can't do it. I don't see it yet with Jalen Hurts.
Is people still putting him up there?
Oh yeah, there's still people that think he's that good. Like there is still a chance that they like one of these quarterbacks in this class. I don't think it's likely, but Jalen Hurts is a guy that really benefited from that trade, and obviously Carson Wentz benefits tremendously.
Easton to the moon.
The weapons for both teams, I don't think it really affected anybody too much. But Carson Wentz finally has a chance to kind of redeem himself back with Frank Reich again.
Easton to the moon. Let's go.
100%. I'm looking at it right now. Jalen Hurts is my quarterback 16 in Dynasty. And people are mentioning him as like a top 10 type option.
Yeah, like I actually would take all 4 of the top 4 rookie quarterbacks over Jalen Hurts.
Correct.
And Paulo, a realistic package for Russ would probably be 3 firsts and 2 twos, with at least one of those firsts probably being in the top 10 to 15 area. Is probably where I'd put his value.
If he forces his way out of there, I think you could maybe get him for less than that. It could be like a 2 1s and 2 2s type thing.
One of the ones has to be top 15.
About it and tries to get the hell out of there.
Yeah. Like one of those ones, in my opinion, has to be super high. Like if you're talking about Carolina,
it's got to be higher than what Stafford got. That's basically the bottom line.
100%. So I do think they can get the farm for Russ. And quite frankly, if you're looking at it from a rebuilding perspective, I mean, Seattle's kind of in a weird position because they got that franchise superstar type top tier quarterback, but They are never
They're
really
like the
going to
Rams,
be.
man. They have stars and scrubs. They have they traded 2-1s for a box safety, and they have Bobby Wagner on their defense. But outside of Jamal Adams and Bobby Wagner, what plus starters are on their defense? Really?
Yeah.
Like Jaron Reed? Like maybe? Yeah. I don't know. Like their offense, other than their 2 receivers, who are the plus starters on their offense?
Yeah, I know. I agree. I mean, if you're looking at their defense, realistically, they have no edges. They got one solid not rotational. He's good. Poona Ford at defensive tackle. They're losing Jaron Reed probably this offseason.
Losing KJ Wright. Probably.
Losing KJ Wright. They're losing maybe Shaq Griffin, I believe.
Bradley, I believe Shaq and Andre Diggs are good players, I guess.
Shaq Griffin's up, right? I think he's a free agent.
He might be, yeah.
And then again, I still can't believe how much they dealt for Jamal Adams. Like, dealing that much for a box safety just makes no sense. Trade for the Jets. It was great. Man,
Russ is that good, by the way.
Yeah, Russ is that good. We'll get into it.
But he's a bit of an older player too, and there's a chance that he makes a big deal out of it and forces his way out of Seattle.
This one's me. Let me take it over. So yeah, he's talking a lot about Sutton. He said, "Oh, you took Darnold." Listen, all right, you ready? I get DeAndre Hopkins in the 4th round. In the 4th round, I got Stephon Diggs in the 4th round. The 4th round,
ridiculous.
The 4th round.
That's ridiculous.
In the 6th round, I got Keenan Allen, who, by the way, is still a 1 and will be a 1 with Herbert. I already had I was able to get Adam Thielen in that same 8th round. I just don't you're talking without context, big boy, and I just need to settle down.
I mean, Cortland Sutton in the 8th round is great value too, though.
Cortland Sutton in the 8th round is phenomenal.
But he's throwing around my Darnold takes. But there's a lot of teams in that league with only 2 quarterbacks, and I have Sam Darnold, Matt Stafford, and I have Justin Herbert, and I feel like a G for that.
That's solid, yeah. No,
you should have 3 starting guys there theoretically. Okay. Yeah. Even if Darnold isn't the Jets' starting quarterback, he should be a starter for another team next year.
If Kadarius Toney gets 1st-round draft capital, I don't ever see.
I need to see where the other receivers go to.
Yeah. I just don't ever see him being a huge fantasy football contributor. I like him from an NFL perspective. Like, I think he's got a really nice role as a number 2-3 in the NFL, and he presents that underneath type guy, versatile type guy to be
I think he's a worse version of Elijah Moore.
Yeah, that's kind of how I view it.
They're both slot receivers that are really shifty, except Elijah Moore is a better version of him, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And if Elijah Moore gets picked 45 and Kadarius Toney gets picked 26, it's not going to sway me too much. 1st and 2nd round receivers, the difference is really not that big. If Elijah Moore was like a mid-3rd round pick and Kadarius Toney was a 1st round pick, then that's a bigger difference. But if it's only like a 20-30 pick difference between those 2 guys, I will still have Elijah Moore at 5 over Kadarius Toney. Kadarius Toney is currently my wide receiver 7 right now, and I still have a number of receivers to watch, like Tyler Hall, like Miami Brown, who could end up being higher than Kadarius Toney.
So I'll tell you right now who I have above him. So I got the consensus top 4 receivers ahead of him. I have Elijah Moore, Terrace Marshall, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Rondale Moore, Wallace, Diami, and then Toney.
Yeah, see, I don't have Terrace Marshall to me. I don't think he's better than
that's from fantasy football, to be fair.
It's my 6 and 7 is obviously Amon-Ra is my 5. Toney and Elijah Mitchell are ranked 17 and 18 in my
You mean Moore?
What?
Yeah. You mean Elijah Moore?
Who did I say?
Mitchell, the running back.
Oh, shit, I'm an idiot. Yes, Elijah Moore and Toney are 17, 18 in my list. So I mean, they're right there. I mean, it literally could go anywhere.
For sure. Yeah, into the board. Go check out our channel, dude. We got a bunch of prospect battles. Talking to you mentioned, you asked a lot of questions about prospects. If you want to hear a lot more in-depth stuff about any particular prospects, we're doing a prospect battle series from now until, I don't know, probably close to April, to be honest, based on the guys that we have to get through. We're going to go over the big name prospects at each position. We're going to talk about sleepers at each position once we're out of big name prospects for that position group. And we're going to have you covered for everything NFL draft related from a fantasy perspective on this channel. So we're a fantasy football channel. We talk about the NFL draft because that's the time of year that we're in. And then once we get into season, obviously, we're going to talk about redraft content and fantasy football stuff for the upcoming NFL season.
For sure. Pitts or Hawkinson? It's going to be Hawkinson for me because we know what he is.
He's the cutoff. He's the cutoff.
He's a cutoff, yeah.
For Hawkinson is Pitts.
Yeah, I agree. Jared, I'll fight you. Canadian boys, yes, sir. Representing.
Go Florida. Tampa, Titletown, baby.
Free advertising right there for the boys.
Hey, don't worry, Javon. He is more than a decent quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. But I agree. Yeah, he'll probably get around 10 more years. What do you mean a win-win? Yeah, I mean, the reason why I say win-win from a outside perspective, I'm just talking about between the two teams involved. From a Cowboys perspective,
the Eagles got better, so it's a lose for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I mean,
they don't have the turmoil now. Like before, they had the what if these guys are both on the roster next year? Like that's going to be a shitstorm.
Yeah, agreed. 20 years also. I don't think he'll play. I don't think Dak will play 20 years because he'll be 48 years old and he'll turn into Adam Vinatieri. But yeah, he'll have a long year or a long
Young Money. Do you mean from a redraft perspective or from dynasty perspective? Because if it's a super flex, the first rookie off the board from a dynasty perspective is Trevor Lawrence. But if it's redraft and it's not a super flex, even if it is a super flex, the first rookie off the board is one of the two, maybe even three running backs, whoever gets the best landing spot. It's going to be either Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, or potentially even Javonte Williams. If any of those guys go in like the first round to Pittsburgh or something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's all going to be
it's not one of the wide receivers, is it?
No.
I don't see the Cowboys bringing in Tyrod. They don't really want to allocate that type of cap space to the backup quarterback position. Plus, Garrett Gilbert did have some good showing last year when he did fill in. So I do think that Cowboys do roll with Garrett Gilbert as their number 2 quarterback going into the 2022 season or 2021. My math's off. Fuck. 2021 season. Fuck. It's so weird thinking about ahead of time.
Why are you here for Cowboys talk? Get out of here.
Yeah, I
challenge you to name me 5 better quarterbacks than Russell Wilson.
I could probably name you 5.
I can't. I can name 2. I think Russell Wilson is the best quarterback in the league.
The thing is, I think he's in a tier 7, as I mentioned. I think
yeah, and that's fair. You could, if you wanted to argue that Tom Brady is better than Russell Wilson, or
Dak, Josh Allen,
or Josh Allen's better than Russell Wilson, I could see that argument. But I would take Russell Wilson 3rd behind only Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes personally.
Yeah.
If you want to say Aaron Rodgers better than Russell Wilson, sure, I guess that's
Rodgers my team.
But I think Russell Wilson is a bare minimum top 5 quarterback in the league. In my opinion.
Yeah. Again, like it's weird once you start putting names to the order, it does get a lot closer. But as I mentioned, again, after Patrick Mahomes, I think there's a tier 6 quarterbacks. I don't care what order you put them in. That's going to be the overall top 7 in the list. And then you get into like the Ryan Tannehills, like Justin Herberts, that type of area. But it is close. Since Picaro wants to run more, is Chris Carson? Chris Carson's probably not coming back.
So Chris Carson's a free agent. So if Chris Carson is back, then Chris Carson will be probably appropriately valued. He'll probably be a 3rd-round pick like he normally is. If whoever the Seattle starting running back is, if Chris Carson leaves in free agency and they draft Javonte Williams in the 2nd round, or they go out and sign somebody else, they're probably going to be relevant for fantasy because Pete Carroll wants to run the ball so much.
Yeah, I agree.
Connor Fournette, because then he sucks.
Yeah. Green Bay Packers 5 dream targets in 2021 in free agency. Nobody. They don't have the cap to sign anybody.
Will Fuller.
They don't have the cap to sign anybody, bro.
They don't have this cap to sign anybody, but there's ways around the cap. They could figure out a way to sign Will Fuller if they really absolutely wanted to.
Yeah, for real. Love the passion talent. Oh shit, my bad. I see it as well. I mean, I will say that Thielen is a weird case for me because
he's a bit of an older player, so you worry about the fact that he's like kind of declining a little bit. But I think if Adam Thielen starts going in like the 6th, 7th round of redraft leagues, which I do think is very possible, then all day I'll pick him there as like my 3rd receiver, like flex spot or whatever in a redraft league, because I think he's still going to produce. He's still a red zone weapon. He still gets targets. In any kind of PPR league, he still gets reception. So he's still probably going to be like a wide receiver too that you can get really late in the draft, similar to someone like Keenan Allen this past year. Keenan Allen was going super late, and no one really seemed to appreciate him for what he can offer. And I think Adam Thielen could bring a similar thing to the table.
Yeah, I agree.
I got to piss.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think that they have the cap to really bring any of those guys in, but I can understand. All right, Paulo, relax there. Paulo, every time we get into an argument, I put you in the dirt. So let's not get into that right now, buddy. Dig it. All right, boys. Love seeing you in the chat, into the boards, and glad. Hey, maybe we convince you to check out a couple videos. Is there? Stop. No, the goat. There's actually a huge argument between that, but I mean, you're going to argue Cowboys bias. When you actually break down the numbers, you break down the advanced passing metrics, they are neck and neck in terms of what they represent. Again, the top 7 quarterbacks are so far.
The Cowboys, bro.
I mean, the top 7 quarterbacks from an advanced metric standpoint are so similar to the point that if you want to argue Russ over Dak, I'm not going to be opposed to it. If you want to argue Watson over Russ, you want to argue Josh Allen over Russ, you want to argue Russ over Aaron Rodgers, it's so subjective to the point that because their numbers are so similar, you can make the case for any of those guys being 2, being 3, or being 6. So you want to call it Cowboys bias. I have numbers to back up the claims. So,
okay, so you guys want to hear some unbiased talk? I'm a Buccaneers fan, and I would take Russell Wilson over Tom Brady.
Yeah, no, I would too. It's fair.
I think I'd take Russ over Tua.
I can see the argument for Mahomes and Rodgers and Watson. I don't think Josh Allen's better than Russell Wilson, personally. I think he's close. I don't think he's better. And I don't think Tannehill, despite how good he's played,
I wouldn't put Tannehill there either.
Better than Russell Wilson from an NFL perspective. I think it's close in fantasy, but from a talent perspective, I don't think Tannehill's quite there yet. He's probably right behind him, but not quite there yet.
I mean, for the record, if you're looking at Dak's 2019 and Josh Allen's 2020, they're both top 3 MVP caliber campaigns. So if you want to say putting them in the same convo as being top 3 MVP candidates as being disrespectful, then I don't know what your definition of disrespectful is, quite frankly.
Yeah. All right.
I need some hockey takes. Who's your final 4 and finals matchup? Paulo basically ran it through, and I agree with that. Boston, Tampa, Toronto, Vegas, probably the favorites to represent that top 4 right now.
Nope.
Toronto,
Philly, Tampa, Toronto, and Colorado.
Well, to be fair, Bush, if you guys win the Canadian division, you get a top 4 appearance.
Oh, what? Is that how it works?
Yeah. It's division based.
Oh my God, I'm not even paying attention. I just watch my team.
I'm going Colorado, Toronto, Philly, and Tampa, and then finals is Tampa, Colorado. Because I'm assuming they'll be the highest seeds out of the remaining 4, and they'll knock out Philly and Toronto. And then Tampa repeat, baby. Tampa Bay.
Wait,
I don't mind it.
Tampa in?
They're in the – what are they in? They're in the South,
Central.
Right?
It's
Central,
Flyers,
that's what it is.
Blackhawks, Stars, Nashville, Carolina, Florida. Some
Flyers aren't in that.
You guys
division.
are playing just
not
Western
Flyers,
Conference teams and shit.
Red Wings,
you're not even playing okay, that's cool. That's pretty interesting. I didn't even know that's how it worked. I guess we're playing Western Conference teams too, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. By the way, Colts, in that tier you had there, replace Tannehill with Dak, and that's how I view it as well. For the record. Also, who wins it all? I personally think that Vegas is going to take it.
Tampa Bay, baby.
I see it. I definitely see it. I mean, I do think that it's going to be close. By the way, Ben, Colorado and Vegas cannot both make it because they're both in the same division. So,
what happened to the Yotes talk? Come on, let's go. Coyotes all the way.
Nate, we see it the same way.
Again, the reason why, if you asked me after the first 5 weeks last year, Russell Wilson would have been my number 2. What we kind of saw at the second half of the season.
What do you mean after the first 5 weeks? Russell Wilson's been an elite quarterback for 10 years.
No, but what I'm saying is if you're comparing it from what the tier is now, because again, throughout those 10 years, we haven't had the same 7 guys in that tier. Josh Allen, if you had asked me after 5 weeks, probably wouldn't have been regarded as a top 6.
As good as Josh Allen is, though, he doesn't have the experience that Russ has.
That's fair.
So if you think Russ and Wilson is close and from a talent perspective, then you have to give Russ the edge because he has all the experience too.
Yeah, I just saw a stupid comment.
And he has a terrible team around him too.
It's definitely fair. Again, it's a subjective argument once you get into it. But Paulo, I'm not going to stop. The numbers back up what I've been saying. So
Paulo and Rivers.
I do.
Back. Colts Nation knows what's up.
That's the take I was talking about. Rivers, or stop with that. What the fuck. His line has always been bottom of the league. Yeah, that's fair. But to be fair, a lot of his success comes out of structure anyway. So it doesn't really, I don't want to say it doesn't matter because obviously it matters, but because of his play styles, it matters less. Similar to what Watson represents, what he does out of structure as well. So when you're a pocket quarterback, your line definitely affects your situation a lot more than if you're a more so mobile type player. So,
oh my God, the comment section does it for me. I love it.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, it's stupid, but it is a tier 7, Paulo, by the way. Actually, I'd put Mahomes ahead, but tier 6 after.
Mahomes quarterback in the league.
Yeah, his numbers are fucking ridiculous. Look at my last comment. What was your last comment? Okay, I disagree with that a little bit, but yeah. I'm a Washington fan. Keep dilly-dallying with. Yeah, it's stupid, and I know every single Washington fan I know wants Dak so bad. It's crazy. But yeah, no, Dak on Washington would fucking be scary. That's why I'm not going to even acknowledge that thought. And Paulo, if you actually watch the Cowboys' offensive line over the last 2 years,
we're not playing this in Cowboys.
No, I'm just gonna say you would know that is an objectively false statement.
Everything turns into Cowboy stuff here. Anyway, yeah. Colt says I was lying about Tannehill. Yeah,
Colts, like stop. You know, if I was mean, I'd put you in timeout right now. But
I think Phillip Rivers might not even be better than Blaine Gabbert. So
he's not. I'm at Stanley Cup. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm not going to time out now. I'm in a nice mood. Men's Stanley Cup. Yeah, okay, I can see that.
So either Vegas or Colorado and Boston.
I thought he was talking about the matchups.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I can see that. That'd be a good matchup.
I mean, the Leafs. I can't believe the Leafs are going to win a Mickey Mouse Cup this year.
Stop. Who do you think will draft Justin Fields?
Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta makes a ton of sense.
I think it's Atlanta.
I think it's a lock.
It makes so much sense to me.
Atlanta's getting either Justin Fields or Trey Lance. That's a lock at this point, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No.
I'm 11. Okay, well then you probably shouldn't be having drinks with us then.
Okay, that is such a false statement. Like, where are you getting these like quote unquote facts out of? Like, what?
Maybe just bounce off of Cowboys. And,
no one cares about the Cowboys.
It's objectively unproven, but okay. Where do we leave off at?
No, David Johnson is never a value.
No, stop.
I think David Johnson is just bad and washed up at this point in his career. So if David Johnson is the starting running back for the Texans next year and Deshaun Watson's no longer there, I could care less, to be honest, what David Johnson
I don't care about David Johnson. Come on. CeeDee Lamb will be my top 10. You tell him, Javon. Let's go.
All right. We're closing in on 2 hours almost, so we'll get your last second questions in here. No Cowboys questions allowed. And then we'll probably head out of here because we probably only intended on going like an hour and 15 minutes or so. So we've gone a little bit longer for you guys.
Come on, we had fun, right? Everyone had a joy.
Yeah, for sure. David Johnson's wife doesn't let him play anymore.
Damn.
Oh, insight from Arizona.
Facts.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm not even going to acknowledge that.
Paulo, please follow me on Twitter. You're a goat. Tyler Moss NFL. I love you.
God, I just saw Colt's argument, but anyways.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to acknowledge that. By the way, Paulo.
Jameis Winston threw for 5,000 passing yards 2 years ago.
Paulo, I've been watching football before you even knew football exists. Let's stop.
Come on, Daddy.
Anyway, Javon said Tony Pollard and Zeke Elliott. That is a Cowboys-related question, Javon, but it's fantasy-related, so we will answer it. Yeah. Tony Pollard is and always will be while Zeke Elliott is there.
Handcuff.
A change of pace back. That's really all he is. Zeke Elliott's the ball carrier. Unless Zeke Elliott is hurt, Tony Pollard is only a emergency flex type of player in fantasy.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm curious. Where do you guys have Zeke in your rankings? Because I found it like basically impossible to
rank.
Dynasty or for redraft?
Let's go Dynasty, just because that's kind of what our thing is.
I still have him inside the top 12 running backs in Dynasty.
He's my RB11.
He's I think he's probably about like RB12 or something like that for me. He might even be like RB14 or 15, but like he's still up there. He's still going to be a top, 10 running back for the next 2 years if I had to guess.
Easily.
I'm at 15. Is that low? Ow.
That's not terrible.
I don't hate it.
If you put Antonio Gibson or something like that over him, I wouldn't blame you.
Yeah.
Potentially. I mean, DJ. To be fair, though, we actually broke down the stats, and Trevor Lawrence's worst part of his game was his deep ball, and that's where DJ Chark strives the most. However, as bad as, or I'm not going to say bad, but because it's even the worst part of Trevor Lawrence's game, it's still a lot better than what Minshew and Luton represented. So, I do think he does see an uptick, but I think we're probably going to be a little bit lower on him compared to the rest of the market, in my opinion. Given what we're hearing, because everybody's just like saying he's like a top 20 receiver lock. I just don't know if that's the case.
Yeah, no, DJ Chark, and it's weird too, because I really loved DJ Chark last year, and now I'm like going to be the guy that's out on him apparently.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I would believe in the Steelers' running game 2021. If they get Najee Harris,
have a good running back, I'll believe in their running game because they currently have terrible running backs.
And Paul, are we talking about when Russell Wilson had his worst year as a pro and Dak had a Rookie of the Year? Because if that's the case, then yes. Okay, I'm not gonna fucking answer that. KC, you boys have fun. See you on the next live. Love you. The classic Javon. Love you, Javon. Classic Javon. Where do Najee Harris or Etienne get drafted next year in redraft?
I think depending on landing spots, obviously at bare minimum, they're top 4-round picks. I would say either of those guys, in my opinion, could go as high as like the early second round, depending on where they land. If any of them are a Pittsburgh Steeler or Travis Etienne's an Arizona Cardinal at 16 or something like that, then I would pick those guys in the top 15. I think.
Yeah. No, definitely. I could see that. And again, given the landing spots, given the projected workload for either of those guys, if they do get that favorable landing spot, we could see them absolutely dominate as soon as year one. I mean, we're talking about guys who are going to have top 35 minimum type draft value or draft capital landing on fortunate spots. I absolutely would take the chance on him at least in the second round if that was the case. So
for sure.
Yeah, I mean Zeke is just. I'm not even gonna get started. It was fun. Have a good week, guys. Nice seeing you.
Nate, appreciate. I think you've been in here the entire time too, so I'll give you credit for that. It's been like 2 hours, and you've been chilling with us the whole time. So cheers to you. You've been in here this whole time, and I'd love to see you in the Listener Dynasty League. Maybe you can't afford it. Maybe you're broke like the rest of our audience and us included. But if you still got a chance, if you want to purchase a draft guide and get in the Listener Dynasty League with us, you're good company. So we'd appreciate you.
For sure. Stephon Diggs over Devonta in 2021. I personally don't see it, but I don't hate it.
It was close. It's definitely possible.
It wasn't really that close, but I could see it. I mean, Stephon Diggs with Josh Allen throwing him the ball. If he gets those touchdown numbers up to I don't want to say similar to Devonta Adams because Devonta Adams was fucking like insane in that regard. But if he gets that touchdown mark to 12 to 14, he could absolutely challenge for that number one spot. So I do fully agree. The potential in that offense with Josh Allen is through the roof. And Stephon Diggs is going to be a consensus top 3 receivers or top 3 receiver going into next year amongst us. So,
Paul, I in timeout for saying Etienne was a bust.
Boom.
Is Clyde the Glide bouncing back?
Nope.
Okay, the way I see Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it's strictly a talent issue. Like, I'm not even kidding. Because I think if he had come out last year and played like J.K. Dobbins played or played like a really good rookie running back, he would have had that workload and nothing would have happened. They never would have signed Le'Veon Bell. None of that stuff would have happened. It's all a matter of if he plays well, they'll give him the Kareem Hunt workload that we saw in Kansas City a number of years ago. So if Clyde bounces back and we hear things all at camp that he's playing super well and he looks super good, then I'm willing to believe in him. But I think it's a talent thing. I think Andy Reid will give him the ball if he demands it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, Colts, see the philosophy when you're in the NFL draft is when a Pro Bowl type of talent falls to you in the draft, you don't just take them because you don't need that position.
Go to the next.
You take the best player available.
No one's here for the Cowboys.
It's too good enough. If they can get a receiver that separates, I'm all for that receiver. But
yeah, Devontae Parker, I'm not overly interested in. If they just have Devontae Parker, and even if they add a receiver, I'm not interested in Devontae Parker really.
Yep. Devontae not scoring 18 touchdowns again.
That's definitely possible. That's a lot.
It's fair.
I wouldn't bet on anybody scoring 18 touchdowns in a season. If you told me Devontae Adams was going to score, I think he's a lock for like 10 touchdowns, but I don't think he's going to score 18 again.
Yeah, no, I agree. Love you, boys. Thanks for answering.
Young Money, too. Love you, too.
Anytime, Young Money. Hey, another face. I'd love to see you get in the Dynasty League as well.
For sure. All right. Last minute questions. We got 2 minutes to 2 hours. Any questions that come in after 2 minutes from now, we will not answer. So if you have any more questions, get them in.
Yep.
Let's plug the guide one more time, all right?
Yeah, I think we plugged it about 78 times throughout the thing, so we might be good.
I'm just going to take this one real quick. Okay.
Yeah, comment. Don't want to see that.
All right. I will hide it, but I'll address it. He's on pace for 1,300 yards as a rookie with Dak Prescott, and he still finished with 940 and 5 touchdowns as a rookie, playing 75% of his snaps without a starting quarterback. So he's a Pro Bowl level
excuses next year when CeeDee Lamb is in the top 20 receiver.
Yeah. Send the link for the Dynasty. I'll smoke you, boys. Yeah. So again, if you get into the draft guide, if you pre-order the draft guide, you still have about 10 hours at this point. If you do pre-order the draft guide, you get automatic entry into that Dynasty League. So the link should be pinned somewhere above, and then if not, you can see the banner going at the bottom of the screen, the fantasystockchange.com. So with that being said, get in. Want to see you in there. Rank those guys.
Yeah, I got this. I'll take it over. I mean, this is a Tyler
in fantasy.
No. Fuck, marry, kill. I'm gonna go. Let's go. Russ is the easy screw. I mean, come on, you get a beautiful face, but like kind of insane. Like
you might get some like Sierra like residue there too. So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I feel like I'm marrying Stafford, and I'll tell you why. Listen,
Stafford is definitely the Mary right there.
He's got a heart of gold. I feel like he's a hardworking boy. You know, he was from the South. You know, he survived Detroit. I want that kind of guy in my corner. You know what I mean? And Kyler's short and a midget. I'm good. No offense, though. We love.
Yeah, Kyler's kind of got a resting douche face too.
Yeah, for sure. And Tyler froze. All right. I was not going to time you out, but then you said language and like, come on, man. Don't tell me how to talk on my own.
Our channel is not made for kids. It's in our YouTube description for the record.
Amen.
Anyway. All right, we are going to head out of here, guys. Thank you guys all for joining us. Special shout out to Nate, who I'm pretty sure was in here the entire time. A lot of you guys were in here for a while as well. Peace out, guys. Again, you still got like 12 hours to get the Dynasty Draft Guide. Get into a Dynasty League with us. If not, we're probably going to make it a 10-manner. But peace out, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.
Let's quickly answer Young Money. We'll quickly answer Young Money. So he says, is Marquise Brown bouncing back or is Lamar ass? Lamar is definitely not ass. The problem is Marquise Brown is not simply the type of receiver that will thrive with a guy like Lamar Jackson because, quite frankly, he's just inaccurate at those deep portions of the field. Now, if Lamar Jackson were able to get an Allen Robinson type wide receiver who can thrive in the underneath, who can give him a big target, who can create separation in that intermediate game, wheels up. So Tyler leaves as we said that, but that's just my thoughts on Lamar.
Peace out, guys. Appreciate you guys joining us.
Peace out, y'all.
Next week, we're going to have 2 more prospect battles for you.
Yeah, sounds good. Love you too, Young Money.